Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of Real Life Day Trading Room, the open house edition, happening all week. Ron Demerit's his first time getting this intro live. I love it. Gregory Thomas says, good morning. McCrell says, my first time here. This is super wonderful. Chief says, hello and welcome. Chiasso says, good morning. Michael Ward says, boom, baby. Oh, it's about to get fiery up in here, my friends. I'm going to allow about another 60 seconds or so for people just to slowly log on. Jacob says it's his first time as well. There's going to be a lot of first timers here, so I'm really excited for everyone to be here. Thank you so much. It's going to be a wonderful day. Stephen Dennis says, first time trading with you live. Oh, yeah. John says, good morning from Montreal. Good morning. Oh, man, it's beautiful. Nick says, good morning. Everyone's saying good morning. Good morning, folks. Pleasure to have you here. I truly do appreciate it. For those, I'll probably end up saying this one or two more times at some level today. But for those who are brand new, I took a screenshot of something for you. I'm going to make sure that this is, you should be able to see this. If not, I apologize. But this is what your chat pane should look like. And there's a button, a blue button that says to all panelists and attendees. If you want to click on that blue button for me, just to make sure all of your chats do go to everyone and not just me and Brad. Because if you do just all panelists, we're going to be the only ones that will be able to see that. So just kind of throwing that out there. And again, for all of you, all those who are brand new, do the absolute best that we can to answer all of your questions, to help you, to enrich your life, to trade with you, hopefully make some good money as well. Not only today, but sometime this week. And yeah, so anyway, I think everyone's got it. I'll be posting that probably once or twice again. We'll remind you throughout the week, but all panelists and attendees. Meryl says, I don't see that button. Well, Miss Marilyn, the good news is it's already broadcasting to all panelists and attendees from your account. So that is great. Brad, thanks again for being here, my man. I appreciate it. All right, so let's dive in. Now, the exciting thing is today is a special day. It's actually called Mentorship Monday. And I do this once a month. So Mentorship Monday is usually where I go a little bit slower. I answered a lot of questions. And my goal here is to help you. It's to help the traders understand what I'm looking at, why I'm looking at it, dive into their overall thought process, answer questions, look over trades. I record the entire thing. I send a recording to you, afterwards. So obviously, if you're watching this, the recorded version, it's been recorded. And again, if you're here live, I'm going to hopefully answer your questions. We're doing it all week long. So to kind of give you a very quick schedule breakdown, I'm going to come over here to the website, and then we're going to dive in about 2 minutes. So I'm just going to go over to the website really quick. And I have this is for everyone, regardless if you are a paid member or not. You can access the real life trading calendar. And that is just on reallifetrading.com. Click on premium, click on either the morning or the afternoon rooms, and then scroll down to view calendar here. And if you click on view calendar, you'll kind of get an idea of just generally what we're discussing either that week or that, those upcoming days. So you'll notice this particular time we're looking at right now is Central, since I'm in Nashville and it's Central time. So Brad Reed, who is on the ones and twos back there in the chat pane, he's going to be broadcasting for you all Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this particular week at 8 a.m. So you're going to get to see Brad, and that's pretty much what's happening there. And then, of course, I'll be here from 11 a.m. Eastern. So, again, these are all Eastern times to 1 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'll be here all day Friday. I do have a lunch break scheduled today and Friday. So normally when I go all day, All day to me is 8 to 11 Central. And then one of my really good friends and trading partners and hedge fund owners named Blake Anderson will be doing my lunchtime break from 11 to 12. So 11 to 12, Blake Anderson will be here today and Friday. And so you're going to get me, you're going to get Blake, you're going to get Brad, you're going to get 3 different moderators this week. Next week, LaToya will be in the room on Monday, and be me, Brad, and Blake next week as well. So anyway, it's going to be amazing. Gregor said, will these videos be available to look at any time? Yes, sir. I'm recording them. Janet says, good morning from Arizona. Good morning. Janet, I appreciate you all being here. Type in a 1 if you can see me and see my screen okay, and then we're going to dive right in. I'm hoping to get 240 ones. All right. Tons of you here. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Fantastic. So let's dive in. I think that's all the housekeeping I need to do. What we do every single morning in the real life day trading room is we go look for, this is probably going to be really shocking, but we look for day trades. Again, I'm going to go a little bit slower today than I normally go, but it also will probably feel fast for a lot of you. If you are brand new to the room or brand new to real life trading, remember this is a judgment-free zone. It is a place where I encourage you to ask questions. I'm going to go as slow as I can. My goal is to help you enrich lives together. So we're going to be looking for day trades. Sandra says, do the recordings come by email or on the website? They do come by email, Sandra, and they will also be on our YouTube channel as well. All right, so since we're looking for day trades, the first thing that I look for, and I'm sure most of you have gone through my day trading seminars and programs, they're all entirely free, as you know, but just in case you didn't, I'm gonna kind of go through what I'm looking at in the morning and what we're looking at together, and that's going to be 4 letters long. You guys know what those 4 letters are? GAPS, gaps. You can even throw in an exclamation mark if you want. We're looking for gaps this morning. So we have exactly 22 minutes left until the market opens. So we're looking for gaps. We're looking for people to be trapped. We're looking for people to be excited. We're looking for momentum, for movement, and we're looking to play some type of movement in some direction, either bullish or bearish, and hopefully lose less money than we make. So I know real life trading is a little bit different in that we don't focus on how much money you're going to make. I get that, ladies and gentlemen. I know that there's tons of people out there. There's tons of instructors and classes and webinars and presentations and schedules, and they all discuss and they all talk about, you can make $10,000 in the first 30 minutes of the day, every single day, and you're going to be driving, a Rolls Royce and a Bentley, and you're going to be the Ferraris and the bikinis and the martinis. I get that. That's one way of marketing. That's one way of selling a product. But coming from a professional trader and from a hedge fund owner and from someone who's been involved in the market a very long time, it's not about profits, ladies and gentlemen. The profits should take care of themselves. It's about risk protection. It's about risk mitigation. So far, we haven't had anyone who's joined real life trading and just blown up all their money, lost all their money. Hasn't happened yet, which is a phenomenal thing because, trust me, it happens very frequently in some of the trading rooms I've been a part of in the past, where I'll see someone in one day just lose their entire account because they're focused on how much money they're going to make rather than how they can protect their capital. So we're going to be focusing a lot on that. And one of the gaps that I'm looking at today is actually, believe it or not, Apple. And there's many gaps out there. And we all know, I think most of us know, that I look at Apple every day. But what I'll be doing is I'll show you other screeners as well that I use, Kurt. So just hold steady, and I'll be happy to show you. But as far as gaps are concerned, I look at Apple every day. It's just one of the stocks, one of the companies that I like to focus on every single day. I pull it up and I just simply see, what is it doing? All right, what is it doing? So the charting software that I'm using is called TradingView. And what you'll notice is right now, pre-market, Apple is gapping down $1.23 or 0.65%. Now, what's interesting about that is the location of where it's gapping. So what you're going to notice on Apple is two things. You're going to notice the lower shadow on Friday. It's a small lower shadow, but it is there. And you're also going to notice this candle, which is a pretty good bullish candle bouncing off the 10, made Apple create a new higher high. Very strong bullish momentum, very good signal. So on gaps, ladies and gentlemen, this is key. Location is everything. Size is less important. So the size of the gap or the percentage of the gap, percentage move is less important. It is really about how many people are exuberantly excited in one direction or another. So what I can do is I can sit here and look at Apple and I can tell for sure that there are some buyers out there. Number one, based on this candle, the stock moved higher, made a new all-time high, came down into the 10 and created this bullish candle right there. Then it created this bullish candle, then it created this bullish candle, and then you got two bearish candles, which should have been a flag pattern, right? Apple actually should have bounced off this and continued higher, but it didn't. In fact, it actually gapped down. So you have these bearish candles, these candles right here, and Apple gapped down on Friday morning. And that particular gap it's trapping for sure, right? Anyone who bought actually in this area right here. So anyone who bought, let's call them in the red circle, anyone who bought there is trapped. And we can also see that there was a little bit of buying on Friday. This blue line is the 20 EMA. And that 20 EMA is where Apple should bounce off of, right? So again, we're in a bullish trend. Apple's pulling down to the 20. It should bounce off the 20. It doesn't look like it's going to do that right now. So when it's off the 20, it should bounce. Also, you're looking at this candle right here, which is a bullish candle, and then you're going to notice it's gapping down to 187.61. So the low of this candle, the low of Friday's candle was 188.26. What I love looking for is, this is one of my favorite patterns, is I love looking for a stock that is barely gapping down below yesterday's low when there is a wick, or gapping up above yesterday's high when there's a wick. Same thing, when there is a wick. So there is a wick. We can see that wick from Friday. It's not a huge wick, but there is one there. And that wick means that there was a little bit of buying going on. Now, the reason I keep pointing to this bullish candle is because, again, obviously some bullish traders came in on June the 1st. You'll notice June the 1st, that bullish candle, Apple went from 188 to 194. I'm no math genius, but that is a 6-point move, which means the stock moved 6 points. And now Apple is gapping to 187.59, which is below the low of this white candle from June the 1st and below the low of Friday's candle. So again, so far, the only thing I'm using, ladies and gentlemen, is candlesticks and how far the stock is gapping. That's the only thing I'm looking at right now. And it's just Apple. Everyone knows what Apple is. Everyone knows what company it is. It's the biggest, most profitable company in the entire world. It's not some random penny stock. It's Apple, meaning you can make money trading Apple, right? It doesn't have to be some rando stock that you had to screen for. You can trade Apple, and I have a trader who that's all they do is trade Apple every single day. So with this gap down, this is something that I'll be keeping a very close eye on. And I do my initial analysis on the daily chart. Then I hop in here to the 15-minute chart and turn on the extended hours. The reason I turn on the extended hours is it helps me draw some support and resistance. So if I'm looking at the 15-minute chart, I've already looked at the analysis on the daily, and I know that there's not tons of support where we are. So what I'm going to do is just simply draw a support price. So I'm going to use the low of this black candle right here. I'm just going to draw a horizontal line. And then I'm going to draw one more horizontal line at the absolute low. This is the pre-market low right there. And when Apple gaps down, which it is, I'm looking for it to, guys, here's the crazy part, right? I'm about to show you some analysis. It's going to sound a little bit too easy, but it is easy, right? Day trading the stock market is simple, just difficult. It's like walking 1,000 miles. You've all heard me use that analogy. It's very easy. It's just hard. So on Apple, if the stock breaks the support, I'm going to look for it to retest and then roll over. And when it's at this little pivot right here, when it's at that location, I'm going to be looking for some kind of candle reversal pattern. Preferably an evening star reversal. Those are usually the most popular and the most favorite. And that's really it. I'm waiting for it to break support. Nothing brain surgery about that. Looking for it to retest old support as new resistance. Pretty easy. Looking for a candlestick pattern, and then if that pattern forms, I'll get into the trade. And we can get into the trade with put options or shorting the stock. It could be either one. Now, why am I looking to play the retest? Any guesses? Well, on the daily chart, it is a retest gap. Black candle, gapping down, which says I don't have to be that aggressive, which says to me it's going to be a decent gap, hopefully, but it is a retest gap, so play the retest. So that's my analysis on Apple. Let me show you a stock scanner that I use. And in the last open house that we did back in January of 2019, I mentioned this very useful scanner as well. One that only exists on one place on the internet, and that is here in the real life trading room. I mentioned that when I get a collection of traders together, if you want a phenomenal scanner, you can, if you at some point this week or next week decide to join real life trading, you'll get access to our chat pane, which is, this is like our Slack group, which is exclusive just for traders who have joined either the morning or the afternoon room. You'll notice Brad has already posted his watch list. Many traders will be doing the exact same thing. And of course, with that being the case, if you were simply looking at any other particular trade, you can get tons and tons of stocks that way. That's one way, is all I'm saying. That is one way to get your stocks scanned for you, is just be a part of real life trading. Secondly, you don't have to pay. You have one right here. This is entirely free. I'll put it in the chat pane. This is in all of my day trading classes, all of my presentations I do is barchart.com. And this updates 30 minutes before market opens. And look how many stocks you already have to choose from. Look at this. I mean, that is a huge amount. This is the gap ups, right? So you have a ton of gap ups, and you're going to have a solid amount of gap downs since the market's kind of down this morning. So you're going to have a lot of gap ups. You're going to have a lot of gap downs. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it sounds a little bit too simplistic, but usually in trading, the most simplistic strategies and plans and approaches are what end up being profitable. So you don't have to pay for a fancy gap service if you don't want to. Most brokers you can easily set up to scan for gaps. And let me turn this off. So you have gap downs, you have gap ups, you have plenty of gaps, tons to choose from, more than you could ever trade in any particular day. So at some level, you have to go through these gaps and determine and understand which gaps are the best based on the daily chart. That's your job as a trader. Now, at some point, you could build an automated trading system. You could build an algorithm if you want to, but you still have to know what to put into the algorithm. You still have to know what formula, what strategy, what approach. You still have to know all of that. So we're going to be looking at some gap ups and we're going to be looking at some gap downs today. I'm going to go through 3 or 4 initially before market opens. So we have 10 more minutes. So as far as the gap downs, again, you have as many as you could possibly want to choose from. We're going to look at Boeing and Twitter. I'm just going to pick 2 kind of random names on that gap down list, and then I'm going to go to the gap up list. So Boeing made a new all-time high. Give me 1 second. So Boeing made a new all-time high just the other day on the 7th of June. You might say, how did I know that? I'm just looking at it. We can, if you track Boeing enough, you know that this is the previous all-time high right here. It made a new all-time high. Why am I bringing that up? Well, I know that there are a lot of traders and companies and analysts out there who teach how to, trade the break out of the all-time high, which is a dumb strategy. But anyway, people bought right there for sure on the 7th of June. So now the stock is gapping down 353.01. It's an okay gap. So you'll notice this is really a support level right here on Boeing, this purple line. Now, why did I choose that line? Well, because again, we can see very obviously that the stock bounced at that price before, back here on May 23rd, also on May 29th, and on May 31st. Right? We can visually, with our eyes, see that Boeing at one point bounced off that price, which is about 351.40. So if I'm hovering over my crosshairs, I can see that's the price. Boeing right now is gapping to 353.29. So what is interesting about that is it is gapping below the low of Friday. And Friday's candle has a very nice indecision high wave candle. Right? Ron says, what's funny is it seems so obvious now, but I've been guilty of buying at the all-time high before. Yeah, man, it occurs for sure. And I totally understand. It depends on a lot of factors. I'm sure we'll be covering those factors this week regarding when you would buy the all-time high and when you don't. But what I do like about Boeing, ladies and gentlemen, is it is gapping below the low of Friday. And it's kind of gapping into a little bit of a support zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a horizontal line there, right where my purple line is. I'm going to draw it on the charting software. There we go. And then I'm going to take these lines off. And so that way we'll see if it breaks this particular support. So that's Boeing. I'm going to put that one on the list. So we have 2 bearish gaps that we're going to be looking at. And then I'm going to come over here to the gap ups, right? So we got 7 minutes until market's open. 7 minutes until market open. Looking for gaps, doing our scans. And obviously we're gonna be looking at a lot more than just these 4, but I mean looking at some gap ups, and the 2 that I've seen the most in the chat pane were RCI and JD.com. So let's go look at RCII. This one's been put in the chat pane about 40 times this morning, and this is Rent-A-Center. And so Rent-A-Center, first thing I'm looking at, this is the daily chart on Rent-A-Center. I'm looking at what did it do yesterday. And yesterday, you had a black candle. Simple as that. So we know it's going to be a bullish gap and go. However, the second thing I'm doing is I look over here in the headlines to see what type of gap is it. What type of gap is Rent-A-Center? Well, Rent-A-Center is getting bought out. So you'll notice it says Rent-A-Center going private, an $800 million sale. So again, if you've gone through some of my courses and programs, you'll know that a buyout gap shouldn't really be played, because if it's getting bought out, it's not really going to do much that day, right? So if it's getting bought out, it's not going to do that much. So again, I know there's a lot of you excited about Rent-A-Center, but the challenge is it's getting purchased. So since it's getting purchased for $800 million, we already know that it's getting bought out, and we likely know that nothing's going to happen from here because it has a agreed upon price. Type in a 1 if that makes sense. So those are the 2 steps that I do with a gap, is I look at, okay, what type of gap is it? Boom. And then should I even spend any time on this gap? Is it a buyout or an acquisition? If it's getting bought out or being acquired, there's no reason to day trade it, right? For those in a swing trade, congratulations. If you're making money on Rent-A-Center, that's super exciting. But if it's a day trade, I'm trying to make money today, right? I'm trying to make money today. So this is not really going to be a type of gap that I'm going to be focusing a lot of attention on. So the other one's going to be, the other bullish gap was going to be JD.com. We're going to look at that, and we're going to go back to some of the bearish gaps. So JD.com is it has a beautiful gap up off of a phenomenal support. And what's exciting about JD.com is I have to pull up this analysis because this was a very simple analysis, ladies and gentlemen, on JD.com. This happened about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And as that's loading, all we did, and there's a lot of traders in bullish on JD.com, by the way, many, is the analysis was, I think it's going to trade down to a support and bounce. Shocking, but also kind of simple. Here it was, April 3rd. And I'll put this in the chat pane just so you guys can see it as well. If you ever want to copy and paste this link. But what I did is I used a little bit of Elliott wave theory. I used support and resistance. I used long-term moving averages. And I said, all right, I think wave on JD.com is going to come down to the 34 level. And then you'll notice on April 3rd, I'm not saying this will happen, but if it does, I'm looking to go bullish around 34. So if we press play, you'll notice JD.com trades down into that support and bounces. The low of this move was 34.76. That was the lowest that it went. So again, looking to go bullish around 34. And really that signal is simply it trading down into that particular support. Kelly says, I did a bull call vertical thanks to you. Score. Nice job, Kelly. Beautiful. That is some fantastic analysis. You should be very happy on that trade. So JD.com, you have a white candle gapping up. It's a pretty decent gap into kind of no man's land. So there's nothing really holding it back. So I like JD.com. I'm going to put that on the watch list. I'm going to go over here to the 15-minute chart. And what I'm going to notice on the 15-minute chart is this blue line that I have on my screen, right, at 4794. This blue line I already have drawn. It was a resistance price, right? And at that resistance price, it's already pretty much faltered at that level. So you can see that it traded to that price and has already pulled back down. Since it is a retest gap, this is the retest on JD.com. So more than likely, it's going to trade down a little bit lower, likely retesting the highs of yesterday, old resistance, new support. So what I'll do is just simply draw a support resistance line down here, see if it retests, and then move on. So I'll put that on the list, and I also promised I'll look at Twitter. We have 90 seconds to go. Twitter is gapping down. I want it to gap down below the low of this candle. The low of this candle is 44.50, right? That's the low of the bullish candle. It's gapping right now to 45.21. So it's not opening below the low of that white candle. It probably will be an okay gap. I'm gonna write it down on another list and just end up seeing what happens. All right, so I'm gonna jot this one down, Twitter, and we'll come back to it as needed. I do think it could pull back decently, but that's Twitter. Now, please know and understand that I will be adding more gaps to the gap list. Normally, on an average day, we probably have somewhere between 10 and 15. Mostly because at Real Life Trading, our goal is to help you as traders, not show off how much money we can make. So I like to follow and know what you are all trading, and I like to help you all make money because I can make money every single day, every single week, every single month. I want to make sure I can help you all make money. So we do focus many of our trades on what you are all trading. We often will put those on our watch list. So there's over 350 people here presently live right now. Obviously, if every single person threw me just one ticker, that would be a lot of tickers. So I'll be looking at that as soon as the market opens in about 3 seconds, and we'll be reviewing some particular trades as well. All right, there's the opening bell. So again, I'll be adding some of your stocks to this list, don't you worry. But Apple is going to be the one I will focus my main attention on. As you notice, I need this support, these two blue lines. I need Apple to close below these two lines. Now, I know it's only Monday, so it's still early in the week, but this one could be an option trade that we play, and it could also be a stock trade that we short. I personally will plan on trading with options, mostly because, you know, most people should probably own some position in Apple, and you don't want to be short and long at the same time. You can't be if it's the same broker, so to avoid having to go to a different broker, it's most likely simply just buy some puts. Now, if you do it in a different broker, or if you don't have any shares at all, that is something that you could obviously trade if you want to. But what I'm looking for is I want to close below this support. I have them drawn on for a reason. So I'm looking for a close below the support and then a retest. If it does not close below the support, but it continues building pressure, then I will be happy to take a breakout. This particular trade, I'd be looking for a 187.50 put expiring this Friday. So this would be like the pinnacle of a day trade. And if I was looking at taking this trade, I'm going over here to another computer that you guys can't see right now. And this stop would be about $1 on the option. $1 option stop, June 22nd, 187.50 put. So that will be approximately where the stop is going. And the entry, we're going to have to see about exactly how long it trades sideways. But again, if I'm looking for this to break down on an option trade, that would be about $1.80. Would be my bearish stop limit on the June 22nd, 187.50 put. So that means I would have a risk of 80 cents. So what I need in order to take that breakdown, right, to instead of shorting the retest of that support as my trade, as I mentioned earlier, is I need a consolidation. I need some kind of congestion. I need people to start buying the stock, hoping that they want it to bounce off of the pre-market low, which is entirely possible. But if that does not happen and it breaks down, I want to look to play that a little bit bearish. So that's Apple. That's just kind of my analysis on Apple. And again, this is how quickly one can set up a weekly options day trade if you are familiar with what type of gap it is and what type of move it's happening on. Laura says, so you're looking to sell the Apple put? Nope, this would be a purchased put, right? Because if Apple goes down, I want to make money, right, Laura? So selling a put, I do sell puts very often. However, that is a bullish strategy. So once I buy it, then you could sell it. Robert says, so Apple is a bearish gap and go. Great question. It is not. So we were covering this one a little bit ago before market open. And again, this is a really phenomenal, just even this one stock is going to give us plenty of learning opportunities. But you'll notice it's a black candle gapping down. So what type of gap is that, Mr. Robert? RJ says, why use options for day trade if capitalized? So you don't have to, right? And what I'll talk about that in just a second. But if you already have shares, RJ, of Apple long in your account that you use, I'm sure that you know you cannot go short a stock the same account that you're long in. Or at least I can't. So I'm sure you recognize that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the answer to your question. So Robert, it is a retest gap. Yep, black candle gapping down. Black candle gapping down. So that's why I want it to play the retest or want to kind of make a move that way. So it's a little bit of a retest. Desi says $1 stop is an option price or a stock price. So let's talk a little bit about a difference between the option price and the stock price. So you'll notice on my screen, you see this like green line and this red line. If you're looking at playing the shares, 187.18 would be the entry and 188 would be the stop loss on Apple. Right, 188. So if you're actually trading the shares, that would only be 92 cents of risk. Right, 92 cents of risk if you're actually trading the stock itself. Does that make sense, everyone? Anyone have any questions on that? So if your entry, so again, based on the stock price is 187.18, the stop was 188. This would be a bearish position, a bearish trade. And the way we write this into our program when we're making everyone understand that this is an official trade is 187.18 stop limit with a stop loss at 188. That's how we would write it into the stock. So if we're trading the stock, that's how we would write it in. And if we're trading the option, here's how we would write it in, because I am going to make this one official. So if we were day trading a weekly option, we would trade it like this. Apple, June 22nd put option at $1.80 stop limit with a stop loss at $1. There we go. And you could throw that in there. Now, what if you don't trade options? Official day trade. The challenge on Apple is a lot of traders are going to own shares of Apple long term, right? So what if you don't trade options? Again, if you're trading the actual stock itself, I love trading stock. That's usually the majority of the trade that I go for. I look to place the order based on these two numbers right here. Michael says, why 188 for a stop? That's that's 18-cent spread from the 5-minute candle high. Correct. You answered your question. It's above the high of that candle, and I want to give it a little bit of wiggle room. That's pretty much it. So I don't want to put it to the exact penny, just in case you get a little bit of a wick or a flash up above there. I want to give it just a little bit of wiggle room. And obviously, Apple is a $180 stock, so 18 cents away from the particular candle is not that bad. Now, what's exciting is Brad is throwing a number in here for FLT. This is FleetCor Technologies. So FleetCor, he's looking at this gap. This is actually going to be a really nice gap, probably for a swing trade, actually. I might be putting this gap on our swing trade list for the afternoon. What's exciting about this is a phenomenal example of when I will use a day trade and day trading information to then go forward in time for a swing trade setup. So FLT, this particular stock is one that I'll be looking at for a swing trade because we are gapping out of consolidation. So I'm not going to be setting up that swing trade right now, but what I did do is I did write it down. I did write it down in order to trade it and look at it in the future. But FLT, gap out of consolidation, as far as a swing trade, we're going to be looking at that probably tomorrow. As far as today is concerned, here's the 5-minute chart. And the 5-minute chart, you're going to have a decent little bearish candle. So if you turn off the extended hours, it looks something like this. I will put it on the list. And we will see if FLT, I will not be trading the options on this one. I don't have any positions or any shares in FLT, so it's not going to be an issue. It's going to be very spready, so I'm definitely going to do some type of limit order. I'm going to be doing some type of limit order to ensure that I don't get filled at some erroneously awful price. But FLT, I will put on the list. I will keep an eye on it. And we'll see what it does. But the daily chart, this is a very nice gap. It is a retest gap, right? So if we look at the candle, it's a white candle gapping up. So the white candle was Friday. So you'll notice there's obviously some people buying. So those people buying are going to sell and lock in a profit, causing the retest. So I'm not going to play a breakout on this trade. I will be playing a retest. And again, pre-market, we can see there's actually a decent amount of resistance anyway. Pre-market, we got some here at 217, and you have a little bit of pre-market resistance here as well. So preferably, again, since it is a retest gap, I like to see it trade sideways a little bit longer and then pop out. So if I can get another black candle, 2 or 3 more black candles here in the 5-minute, I'll look to take this trade bullish. Again, Apple is set up just in case it decides to roll over. So we're ready. Again, if you want to play the actual stock, the stock setup would be 187.18 by 188. That would be the actual stock price. Again, you'll notice here in the red and the green numbers. My buddy Dean Chance, who you will come to know is a phenomenal trader this week. You're going to hear his name a lot. You're going to hear the names of many traders this week. This is a very good gap on Intel. So what you got on Intel is if you're looking at just the daily chart, you had a nice lower shadow on Friday, and you did break the support of those candles from there. So Intel, I mentioned earlier this morning, I'm looking for stocks that are barely gapping below the low of the previous day, which Intel is doing. So it did gap right below the low. Let me go look at the long-term moving averages just to see where they're at. Okay, so we have a little bit of room on Intel to go. Here's the 5-minute chart, and you can see this thing ran out the gate. So what we're looking at Intel to do is something like this. Something like that is what we are looking for this one to do. All right, perfect. Desi says, do you put the Apple order in or wait for a minute or 5-minute candle to confirm? That's a great question, Desi. So I did wait 5 minutes for the market, for that first 5-minute candle to close, as you might remember, and then I put the order in. So I've already waited that time. So thumbs up. We've already waited, right? So I have a really good video on confirmation if anybody's interested in that. But my video talks about the trend, and we're going to kind of discuss that. Let me answer James Moore's question. So he says, so you're in Apple puts. It's a great question, James. We're not in yet, right? So I waited for this 5-minute candle to close, and then I created this order that's a bearish stop limit, which will buy the option at $1.80, June 22nd, 187.50 put. So that will not trigger until the option is at $1.80 or above. Right now it's at about $1.45. So that has not occurred yet. Does that answer your question, James? Secondly, it likely won't happen until Apple rolls all the way over down here anyway. So we're not in yet. We have it open. It is ready to go. Type in a 3 if I made that order pretty clear, meaning you at least knew what I was taking and why I was taking it. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let me pull up a video. Some of you are asking about my confirmation video. Why I hate the word confirmation, I think is the word, the title of that video. But I'll discuss it in a second anyway. I'll just kind of verbally discuss what it is. And I will be looking for another trade, by the way, because it looks like I'll probably be canceling Apple in just a second. So here's the video that I was referring to. I'm just going to throw this in the chat pane. For those watching the recording, you can just go to YouTube and type in that exact term. I hate the term confirmation, real life trading. This video will come up. You can also find it on our website. Many other places find it, but I will put that in the chat pane. Bottom line, here's what the video says. The term confirmation is way overused. The only confirmation you need in trading is the trend. Once the trend is confirmed, once you know what this trend is, take the trade in the direction of the trend. Simple as that. That's all you need. Because from there, no one knows if the trade is going to work or not. Right? So that's pretty much it. Mauricio, so it would be a bad idea to take the Apple put at the pre-market resistance at 188. That's a great question. So I don't think so necessarily. At that particular point in time, you're just buying it at a nice high price. Really, the solid pre-market resistance on Apple is the low from yesterday. So I don't see a whole lot at 188 holding it back as a resistance. But here's the previous resistance right here. And this looks like it's actually working on forming a double bottom. That's why I kind of want that support to break down. But on Apple, if it trades up into this particular area, If you're looking at going bearish at a resistance, I think it'd be about 188.25. It's a very good question, Mauricio. Hopefully that answers it. A lot of you are also looking at Zillow. So I've seen Zillow's ticker come into the chat pane about 14 times this morning. And I like this gap. What you'll notice is it is a white candle gapping down. So here's your white candle, here's your bullish candle, here's a bullish candle. And what's occurring is it's all happening actually very nicely right at this support level. So you got this support, you got this support, you got this support. It's occurring right at the support. So it really needs to break that low of the day. So here's the 5-minute chart on Zillow. And looking at the 5-minute chart, we have a really decent support. That being the case, I'm also going to go look at the moving averages really quickly. Okay, so we were right on the 10. Beautiful. So we're right on the 10 on Zillow. Here's the 5-minute chart. Robert, great question. I'm going to bring that up in just a moment. We're going to go talk about Apple, and I'm going to see how this candle closes. So I will put Zillow on the list, folks. We're going to keep an eye on that one. We're going to see what happens. James says, will swing trade opportunities be looked at during this week as well? Yes, sir. Of course. It's the open house week. We do everything in real life trading. We're the best on the planet. Get used to it, James. It's just how we roll. Let me see what people are talking about in our community. Okay. Correct. Beautiful. So just making sure everyone's going good on that one. Let me come back over to FLT. This is one that we were looking at. And FLT, I do like that bearish candle that came in. The high of this bearish candle is 215.78, so that looks nice. I need to answer Robert's question because Robert talked about 100 shares. So he said, should I short 100 shares at 187.91 with a stop at 188.01? I go over here on the daily, 187.91. So let me go in the 1-minute chart. Okay, so you just have a nice tight risk reward. Got it. Makes sense. All right. All right, so we can notice here on the 1-minute chart that Apple does appear that it's actually going to be breaking higher. So Apple looks like it's breaking higher. So what are we going to do with our bearish trade, ladies and gentlemen, on Apple? Any guesses? Any guesses? Yeah, we're just going to cancel it. That's simple. Easy enough, right? Now, there still might be a trade that we come back to later. But again, I'm going to come over here to our Slack channel. This particular Slack channel does offer text message alert services. So for anyone out there who is interested in joining real life trading, if you ever want to get text message alert services, you can do that with this Slack channel. So let's cancel the official day trade on Apple. Simple as that. And let me cancel over here in the broker. Just takes a click of a button. All right, that's done. Jacob says on to the next one. Exactly. So again, folks, did we lose on that trade? No, we did not. Did we get triggered into that trade? No, we did not. Many trades that we look at, you will notice at real life trading, we're phenomenal at being patient and waiting. We do not lose a lot. We lose very, very small. That is our specialty. Our specialty is losing small, which is a phenomenal specialty to have, especially if you're retired, especially if you're trying to day trade every single day for a living. Got to be patient, exactly. So let me go through this list on the 5-minute chart just to see if there's anything out there. So this is Boeing. And you'll notice here's the blue line that I drew on Boeing earlier today. You'll notice even though it did open below the wick, right? Even though it did open below the wick, it did not open below this pivot. So it looks like it's actually going to be bouncing off of that price. Right? So Boeing, I still don't think it looks that good. JD.com had a beautiful retest. Oh man, did anyone catch that one? I bet my buddy Seymour did. So obviously I didn't catch JD. If I was by myself, I probably would have set that up automatically. But type in a 1 if you remember what I said about JD right before market opened. The good news is it's recorded, so you guys will all get to watch the analysis. But this light blue line, all this line was simply the high from yesterday. That was it. Old resistance. So what I mentioned before the market opened is JD was a retest gap, so it would likely trade down, retest the old resistance, new support from yesterday, and then bounce. Obviously, I'm not in this trade, but the important part is you can get the analysis correct. And if you can understand the analysis, if you can get the analysis, if you know why, and most importantly, where something is likely to occur, then you can do it multiple times, right? So that would have been a really fun trade on JD. Many of you might have just said, hey, how would you have taken the trade? Honestly, it's very simple. You'd have just had a limit buy at the blue line at 43.93, and your stop would have been somewhere below this pre-market resistance, 43.33 for a risk of 60 cents. Would have been nice. Desi says, what do you think of round numbers acting as support or resistance? That's a great question. I don't really buy into that logic. I don't have any empirical or statistical evidence to prove that that actually occurs. So, hope that helps. For example, I mean, $44 would have been a nice even round number on JD.com, but it didn't bounce at 44. So, one thing I can say about strategies, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm by no means a fortune-telling wizard. But what I can tell you about the stock market is everything works. Just not all the time. Jason asks 3 times, if you traded JD, when would you move your stop? So if I would have gotten in about 15 minutes ago, I would have my stop at this particular location at this particular time, right below the low of these bullish candles, $44.55. $44.55 would be where my current stop would be placed. Steven says he got in at $44.97. All right. Hope it bounces from there, my man. So if you turn off the extended hours, here's the picture you get, and that picture looks pretty good. So realistically, what most people are expecting or hoping JD to do is something like this. That's likely what it will do. We'll just have to see what happens. So we're going to keep an eye on this nice watch list. I don't know what TR was supposed to be. FLT still looks pretty nice. I do like this one. And it did trade sideways. I asked it to trade sideways for 10 minutes, and it did do just that. So if I turn off the extended hours, again, this gap looks very, very pretty on the daily chart. We'll probably be in and out of this one pretty quickly because, again, you'll notice these blue lines represent some pre-market highs, some pre-market targets. If this thing hangs out for another 60 seconds, we'll take this trade bullish as well. Jeff says, do you use a stop market order on your option trades? Jeff, I usually use stop limit on all of my trades. The vast majority of the time, Mr. Johnson, that is because if I do a market order, I can get filled at any price. I don't like that. I don't like getting filled at any price. So Zillow, obviously, still bouncing bullish off that support. And GILD, Dean, put in 69.40, so low of the day by high of the day, okay? So Dean's throwing out numbers on GILD, so we're going to come back to that one in just a second. It does look like it's pretty good. John, I'll do my best to do that. I do have numerous hours of videos as well on the topics of gaps, retest gaps. I'm sure either Ashley or Brad will send you some links and some videos. It's all free, John, so there's no sales pitch, man. I've done about 4,900 hours of creating videos entirely for free, but I will be explaining more and more all week long. All week long. So strap in. It's free, man. Here to enrich lives, my brother. All right, so what I'm doing now is just going through this list on the 5-minute chart. Here's what people want JD to do, obviously. I think it's going to pull it down into about 44.50 before it bounces again. Intel is really just getting rocked right now, so it did have a little bit of a rest right there. I'm going to scoot Intel up to see if we can take the retest of that. And then FLT, I think, closed at that level. It did. It's a nice closure on FLT. So I do like the retest gap on FLT. Let me type in FLT 215.81 stop limit with a stop loss at 213.57. All right. New official day trade. Frank. So Frank is asking here in the Slack channel, should FLT be a bullish trade? There you go, Frank. There's the answer to your question. So FLT is going to be official. So what I'm going to do is set that trade up, and then also I'll put it into the worksheet in just a moment. Does anyone have any questions on this particular order? Again, if you're asking me about stocks and I'm not getting a chance to look at them right now, I apologize. I'll do my absolute best to get to them as quickly as I can. There's almost 400 of you right now, and each one of you are asking about a new stock about every 20 seconds. So I'm going to do my absolute best as quickly as I can. Brian says, what's the target for FLT? Very easy answer. The target, Mr. Brian, preferably is 2 times risk, also known as 2R. Do you know how to calculate that, Brian, or do you need me to help you do that, my friend? Okay. He says yes. Yes to, you know how to calculate that, or yes, you need me help calculating that. Okay, so stop limit 215.81. Okay, so again, that's the order that you're going to be putting into the actual broker. Brian says, yes, I got it. All right, beautiful. Brent says, how do you trade directly from TradingView? I wish I could, Brent, but I do not. This is my, can you see that right there, Brent? Type in a 1 if you can see it. It's on a different computer. All right, cool. That is my Thinkorswim account, my man. I don't trade through the same computer that I broadcast from, just simply because it crashes more than I want it to. Simple as that. Jacob says, so you're waiting for a breakout on FLT. I am, and mostly because this is an all-time high. But what's interesting about FLT is it's a very, very beautiful gap, and it's forming a pennant pattern. So if you were going to take a breakout, this is the pattern that you would want to take a breakout in. So it's pretty much it, right? When you want to take a breakout, so someone asked earlier, when do you take a breakout? I take a breakout when there's consolidation, when there is pressure building, and you get a bunch of people who are buying and selling who eventually get trapped. So right here on FLT, you have this black candle, this black candle, and this black candle. So 50% of the candles on the screen right now are people who are selling. So there are obviously people going short FLT looking for it to roll down, which is certainly possible. But if those traders get trapped, right, and it breaks out, they're going to be forced to buy to cover. And hopefully that buying to cover will lead to the stock to go higher. Now, something also that's comforting, I know that there are many other trading companies out there. There are many other companies who discuss day trading and how to day trade. The one thing that also separates me from them or real life trading from the other companies is they do a lot of low volume, low float stocks. The reason I don't do that, ladies and gentlemen, there's numerous reasons actually. But if you're going to be making big money, right? If you want to make hundreds of millions or billions or whatever the case is, you're not going to be trading low float stocks. Okay? You're not going to be, I'm not going to trade something that has 23,000 average volume. It's just not going to happen. So every 5 minutes, you're going to get about 56,000 shares that come in on FLT. Thumbs up on volume, right? That's a good amount of volume. That's a decent amount. There's not going to be any issue that we're going to be moving this particular stock. There's no way I'm front loading this particular position. Everything is A-okay. So on FLT, that's another reason why we trade more expensive stocks, is because that's what rich people do. If you want to be wealthy, do what wealthy people do, and wealthy people do not trade penny stocks. Rich people trade penny stocks, but wealthy people, I've never heard Warren Buffett talk about a penny stock, or George Soros, or Paul Tudor Jones, or Jesse Livermore, or Benjamin Graham, Carl Icahn, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. I already said Warren Buffett. Bill Gates, Tony Robbins. I can go down the list. However many people go on now. So that's all I'm getting at. There's a lot of people who make money selling people penny stocks and penny stocks advice and penny stock tips. I get that. That's cool. They can make their money that way. But again, if you want to be truly wealthy, you got to make money while you sleep, and you can't do that with penny stocks. Joseph says, what do you like specifically about FLT's gap? So as I was discussing a little bit earlier, it's a gap out of consolidation. So I'm a big fan of that because you'll notice that it's been trading sideways for most of the year. Would you agree, Joseph? So it's been trading sideways. It's been chopping around. This is a gap out of consolidation, meaning you have all these people buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. Not only do you have people buying and selling, but you absolutely, without question, have some people went short here, some people went short here, some people went short here, and they tried doing it again. And if those short traders start to lose money, that's going to drive the stock higher, hopefully. So I like this gap because it's gapping out of consolidation. It's only up 4%, so it has room to move. And it traded sideways, or it has been trading sideways for the better part of 32 minutes. Now, the good news is, folks, some of you are still asking a lot of questions. Again, if I can't get to them right now, I apologize for that. But the phenomenal news is we've only been doing this an hour. We got a whole 4 hours left together. Okay, 4 more hours. So I'm going to get your questions asked, and that's just today. That is just today. RJ said FLT had just as many people buying the dips, right? That is correct. That is the people who are selling this trade right now. And that's why I waited, RJ. As you mentioned, when this candle was forming, I said, before we take this trade bullish, I need to give it at least 10 to 20 minutes of sideways movement. All right. So let me pull up JD.com, because again, JD.com is a retest gap. That's not JD.com. This is JD.com. All right, so JD is retesting, right? So it is a white candle gapping up. So if you're looking at trading it, this is about the time to be looking at trading it. So Steven, if I can help you with your timing, hopefully this week, that's going to be one of my goals, is to help traders understand the timing more. So I'm going to give all of you some homework. Type in a 2 if you want a little bit of homework. All right, beautiful. So here's some homework that will help you with your timing. For the vast majority of you, if you do this, it will help your trading. It's going to be free. It's going to be easy. It's going to be very effective. I want you to hand draw what I'm about to hand draw on the screen, okay? There's about 400 twos that came in, so there's a lot of you that want to do this. Here's what you want to do. Hand draw this pattern 10 times on a sheet of paper. Take an arrow, point to it right there, and then write the words, I will buy here. Thank you guys. Can do that for me? This is what I refer to as a bullish S-curve. This will be the majority of your profitable trading. So the bullish S-curve means as it trades higher, what most traders do, unfortunately, is they wait too long to get in. They wait for something called confirmation. They wait for all of the setups to look right, all the candles to look right, all the moving averages to look right, and then they get in. But unfortunately, that's after the stock has already made its move. Am I right, Michael? When you're trading bullish retest gaps, especially like this one on JD, your biggest objective is to buy into that weakness, to buy into that pullback. Now, that doesn't mean it will work, but that does mean it likely will offer you a much, much better opportunity to get in. Meaning on JD, this is the spot to be buying right here, this pullback. Now, that doesn't mean the trade is going to work, but that's, instead of entering here and getting stopped out here, right, that's the S curve. Take your drawings on all of your stocks and just draw that S curve so that you know, are you getting in at the top or are you getting in at the bottom? So if I go over to FLT, I'll draw that for you. If I turn on the extended hours, because you need a little bit of information. Ready for this? Check it out. So that's what I'm hoping happens. Simple as that. Steven says, I was using the 1 minute chart. I can understand, I get you. So if you're using the 1 minute chart, that's the most aggressive chart you can use in day trading, which means you need to be aggressive. You're in, you're making money, don't lose money. On the 1 minute chart, the 1 minute charts are much, much better for super aggressive, very fast moving stocks, gaps that are trapping tons of people, that people are losing a lot of money on. There wasn't a lot of people losing money on JD.com. Right? I mean, so JD.com had already gone from $35 and it was gapping to $45. That's a $10 move, ladies and gentlemen. That is 30% gain in the last 2 weeks. So how many people are losing money on JD.com? Not many. That's a very big takeaway that I want many of you to really use for the rest of your life in trading, okay? Look at the price. Look at this axis over here and ask how far has this already moved and how many people are making or losing money. Because on JD, as I mentioned right before market open, very confident that it was going to pull back and retest because so many people had already been buying it. So in playing that 1 minute chart, so here's the 1 minute. I mean, you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. And, you know, again, that's that S curve. So it had already moved, even from here, it had already moved a decent amount on JD.com. So again, it takes practice, ladies and gentlemen. It takes a lot of work to get good at being able to kind of spot and read and understand the sentiment. And all of that being said, you can still lose on a trade just because you do all the analysis. As long as you lose less money than you win, that's what matters. So that's why I'm taking FLT down here, is because it is at the bottom of that S curve. At least I hope it is. We'll see if it actually works, but time will tell. So Zillow is working on breaking down. Brian says, typically how many trades do you make each day? Usually 3 to 4, Mr. Brian Terry. Usually 3 to 4. All right, so a lot of you are playing Intel, very nice. So here's Intel. So Intel had a very, very small rollover, obviously. Did retest the low of the day, that's nice. Apple, so Apple bounced. So it had its retest. Richard says, how do you know where the bottom is on your S curve? Practice drawing that pattern more and more, and you'll get the hang of it, Mr. Leslie. Really, to answer your question, it comes down to wave structure, it comes down to Fibonacci's, comes down to support resistance. All of those factors will be, all of those things will be a factor. But overall, when drawing any type of S curve, what I'm looking for is what is normally a nice, healthy rotation, which is often about 38% of its major wave. 38%. That's kind of like that perfect wave structure. So very, very good question. And you're going to see me do a lot of that this week. Again, folks, this entire week is free. Be here with me as long as you can, as much as you can, because the amount of takeaways you're going to get in just this week will be life altering. At least I think so. All right, so FLT. So again, we want to get in at 215.81. So what the market is trying to do right now is fill my limit order at 215.81. So I have gotten skipped for the moment, which means I am not in, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately. We'll figure out if it's unfortunate in a minute. But I'm going to leave this order open for a little bit longer because I do think it's going to pull back. So we'll see, right? This is a short-term S curve. We could get another S curve. I'm going to leave it open. Most stocks retest most of the time. So I'm just going to be a little bit patient on that. All right, so a lot of you are trading Intel. So I'm keeping tabs on Intel for you all. This one is really just getting absolutely crushed today. I'm not in on Intel right now. Zillow, ooh, beautiful candle on Zillow. Beautiful. Is that a tweezer bottom? Oh yeah, it is a tweezer bottom. Meaning the low of these two candles are the exact same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also set this bearish trade up. Okay, and I'm going to wait for this 5-minute candle to close. All right, and if this candle closes like this, so what I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is I am creating my plan for the future. I want you all to be very comfortable with that. You're going to hear me and Brad and Blake do that numerous times this week. But I am creating my plan for what I want to occur in the future. All right, I don't trade the present. I never trade the present. I never care about what the stock is doing right now because that's irrelevant. If I'm not already in, it doesn't matter what it's doing now because I'm not making money. So I need to figure out what am I doing in the future. And I tell the stock, I tell myself, I create this plan of what I want it to do, right? What I want it to do. And then if it does that, I set the trade up. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to do a fortune telling. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to create a bias. That simply says, this is what I'm doing. And the reason that's important is because in trading, if you can't do what you said that you were going to do, then what are you going to do? Does that make sense? Meaning if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, how am I going to make you do something that you didn't even do yourself when you said you were going to do it in the first place? That's what discipline is. I can help you be disciplined. I can teach you discipline, but at some level, all traders, you're going to have to use your own personal invocation, if that's a word, of discipline. So I'll be setting this trade up in about 90 seconds once this trade closes with this tweezer bottom. Now, that doesn't mean it will work, but we'll see. Again, a few of you are in Intel. It's about to retest right now, so look to hold through that. We have a bearish swing trade on guess, which is really kind of frustrating because the market right now is going down and our guess trade is not. So that always kind of annoys me when that occurs, but that's what's happening. John says, I'm shorting Apple at 187.87. Please comment. 187.87. Let me look at it on a 1-minute chart. I can see why you're going short Apple, no question. For me personally, based on this 5-minute chart, if I'm going to go short on Apple, it has to take out this hammer candle. But you're already in bearish. I can see why you're bearish. That is the direction of the gap. And that makes tons of sense to me. And here's your moving averages. So it had a beautiful curve into those moving averages. And as I mentioned to Mauricio, he was looking at shorting at this resistance right here. Right, so this is the retest, old resistance, new support. So this is the S curve right now. For this S curve to truly work on Apple, it needs to take out the low of this hammer candle. And if it does that, John, you should at least make a little bit of money on this trade. I will be keeping a very close eye on trading that, but looks good. Mauricio says, I took the resistance, you told me. Good job, my man. You got half an hour. You're already out? Well, congrats. Mauricio, listening closely and always already making money. I like it. I like it. So FLT, I still gotten skipped over, but that's okay. Again, I think it will retest, but if it trades up into this blue line, which is a target where I would be exiting positions here anyway. Again, remember, I'm not filled on this trade. Type in a 4 if you feel like I gave everyone adequate time to get into FLT. Now, that doesn't mean that we're in. It just simply means, again, most trading rooms, the ones that I've been to, you have no shot at getting into the trades that they get into. Am I right? Type in a 5 if I'm right. I know I'm right because you've been to those rooms and you guys have no chance of getting into the trades that they're getting into. No chance. They just say they're in. You don't even know what they're getting into. You don't know where you're getting into. You don't know why. You're going to get zero advice, zero help, zero analysis. All I'm saying is, folks, I'm the best. Real life trading, we're the best. We have the best team of people here. We have the best traders. This is phenomenal. It's great. It's exceptional. I love it. It's gorgeous. Ram says, not filled. Why? Because I did a limit order. Because this stock has about a 10 to 15 cent spread. And you just got skipped over. So the market makers have to fill you at a particular price, and we have not been filled at that price that we want yet. But I'm leaving this trade open still. Still leaving this trade open because I think it's going to pull back into the 10. Someone asked earlier, why did I turn the pre-market off? Because really, once you go about 40 minutes into the market, you don't really need that. You don't really need pre-market. Because I've already looked at the ranges. I've already drawn my support and resistance. I already know what the pre-market looks like. I've already analyzed it. So at this point, I'll just turn it off. I'll turn it back on and off every now and then, but I hope that helps. Now, Zillow. What I'm using on Zillow is I'm looking for this breakdown. So we're going to set this trade up on Zillow. 62.53 stop limit. There's the fill. Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. FLT. What'd I tell you? Those pullbacks. Stop limit with a stop loss at 63.28. Now, again, this is with shares. I'll be very specific. I'll be very specific if it's ever an option or anything like that. I'll let everyone know. Everyone will have plenty of time. Now, the one thing I did forget to do is I have not put this into the worksheet yet. So let me go ahead and put this into the worksheet. For those who, if you ever decide to join myself and Brad, Latoya, and Blake, and Angie, and Albert, and all the people in the real life trading team, you'll get access to this worksheet or to a worksheet that we log all of our trades in. We've been keeping track of every one of our trades since 2015. And we have exact, screenshots and numbers and entries and dates on almost every single one of them. 215.81 with a stop at 213.57. It was a retest gap. Order is open, so this image is the image of the chart, and I got filled at 215.81. How about everyone else? I got filled at my exact entry. I didn't get any positive slippage, which sometimes happens. And then I'm gonna type in Zillow. Brian says he got filled at 215.91. Oh, you had a different entry than I did. Okay. Oh, cool. So all across the board, some of you got different prices. Got it. Got it. Okay, so Zillow, I'm looking for a breakdown. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be very clear. And the reason I do this is because I want everyone's expectations to align with mine. That's why I named the company Real Life Trading. I don't hide our setups, my friends. I just want all of you to be very, very comfortable with that. I don't hide anything. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. I want everyone to know about it. I want everyone to talk about it. I want everyone to be comfortable with it. So on FLT and Zillow, mathematically, I'm probably going to lose on one of them if I get filled. Okay? And the reason I'm telling you that is, if I go back to the trade tracking journal, and I go to every single day trade that we've placed, again, since February 3rd, 2015, my win-loss ratio is 41.91%. Okay? 41.91. Type in a 1 if you guys all get that. That's my win-loss ratio, which in any sport is incredible. All right? If I have a 400 batting average in baseball, I'm the best in the world. If I play soccer and I get into the net 41% of the time, every time I kick, I'm the greatest in the world. If I shoot basketball 41%, I'm not bad. I'm not bad. I'm decent. Right, Michael Ward? I'm not amazing, but I'm not terrible. I'm shooting 41.9% from the court. I'm not awful. But anyway, that number is important. Also, this number is important. 167 Rs or 335% growth since 2015, my friends. Slow and steady wins the race. My losses are small. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because this week, I am very confident that someone here, we will take losing trades. It's just going to happen. Okay? But if I lose less money than I win, that's all that matters. Camille says, you have different Excel sheets to track stocks, trades, and options. No, we just put them all in the same one. We also have all of our credit spread logs. So I do a lot of option trading here. Now again, folks, if you're like, I have no idea how to trade options. I do teach options, I teach all this stuff for free. But here's our credit spread log. We keep track of all that, the credit spread results. We keep track of all of our stuff. Any official trade that I call out, I'm like, hey guys, this should be a really good trade to take. We do make those official. And we log those as well. All right, so I have two blue lines drawn here on FLT. Now, I'll be moving my stop in a little bit. Emily says, why don't you trade with options? Emily, I apologize if you weren't here about an hour ago, but I was literally setting up a day trade on Apple with options. So if I said something that made you think that I was not trading options, I sincerely apologize about that. Because yeah, I trade options all the time. Every week. All right, so I have a little bit of a target right here. And I have a little bit of a target right here. So these are the two prices. These are resistances. 217 limit sell. Let's exit 1/10 of our position. Does everyone know how to calculate 1/10 of your position on FLT? Take whatever amount of shares you have, divided by 10. 217.01 is what I'm doing at. Jacob says if it's 100 shares, it's 10 shares. Beautiful. I'm just asking. I'm not trying to demean anybody. I'm just simply letting you guys know. Give me 1 second here to set this up. Nice upper shadow. So that right there, that'll show you that you have some sellers up there. You have people excited about it. RJ says, why 1/10? It's a small position. It's a little bit of a profit. It's a little bit of a resistance right there. It's an arbitrary number, realistically. It's pretty arbitrary. I don't want to exit all of my position, RJ, because I think it has higher to go. Are you following me on that so far? So that's number one. Number two, we're not that profitable. So I want to lock in something because it's an obvious resistance. It's an obvious resistance. So I want to take some off the table and reduce my risk. So it could be 1/10, it could be 1/4. Ed says, I wouldn't want to pay commissions on 1/10 positions. Then I would not suggest doing that trade, Ed, if you don't want to. I don't really worry about commissions, but we have a smaller account, or if you have a smaller account, you should absolutely consider your commission structure and how much that will cost, because that is important. Who's asked me this question? Give me 1 second. Theory Presire says, how many shares on FLT did you buy? My R is 500. This is a pretty wide stop, about $2.25. So that was $2.25 approximately was the stop, which was 225 shares for me. Daryl says, when will you move the stop on FLT? In about 20-25 minutes. It's a bullish trade, so it takes a little bit longer. Rajiv says, please tell me the moving averages. The moving averages on the screen are, it's actually I'm very glad you brought that up. It's usually, there it is. I'll say it's usually on my screen, so I apologize about that. The 10, 20, 50 EMA. You guys are doing great questions. We've only been doing this so far for an hour and a half. How are you feeling so far? Now, again, I know there's a lot of tickers that I have not looked at yet, and I apologize about that. Haven't looked at them yet. Tons and tons of you are asking about stuff, but I think we're doing good so far. So Zillow, we do have a bearish setup on Zillow. It's still open, still ready to break down. If I cancel it, that's fine. Marilyn Moss is very effective analysis. Thanks, Marilyn. Appreciate that. Desi says, can you explain Zillow again? If we look at the low, the 15-minute after open, the stop limit would have been filled. Potentially, but I set this up about 20 minutes ago. So this particular candlestick pattern is a tweezer bottom, right? Which means the low of those two candles is exactly the same. Exactly the same. So that means that there is obviously, Desi, would you agree? There's a very, very good support there at the blue arrows, and there's a very good support here at the red arrows. So since there's a good support there, and not only that, but the reason I'm playing the breakdown is because the daily chart, we are at the 10 EMA. So even though this is a bearish gap and go, it's a very strong bearish gap and go, in my opinion, we're at a support, and I need that support to break down before getting in bearish, because people could just be buying off the 10, causing the stock to go higher. Just filled on a 10th of FLT. Just filled on a 10th. You guys type in a 1 if you all filled. You should have. I don't think there's, if you're following in my trade. If you're not, no big deal. I totally get it. Not a problem. Jeff said, did I read the spreadsheet wrong? If max risk on FLT is 200, it seems like you'd buy fewer shares for that max loss. Mathematically, no. So let's do the math, Jeff. So if you have, come over here, and I will make sure I did the numbers correctly. We believe we did. So you'll notice the $200 of risk is 89 shares. Right, Jeff? So you mentioned it was $200 divided by $2.25. Yes, 89 shares. So even though your investment, right, is more than $200, obviously, your risk is only $200 simply based on math. Jeff, correct. So I trade with a bigger R than 200. I just do this worksheet because this is the average of real life traders across the board. There are some traders with $10,000 Rs. There are some traders with $25 Rs. It's just kind of like a nice average. And also what we've been doing, Jeff, since day one, I know that you haven't been trading with me since then, but since day one, we started with the $50 R, and I wanted to show people in real life how long it takes to grow one's account? Like how long it would take to get to a level where you're like, man, I'm making really good money every single month. Like I'm doing really well. So we want to have like a pretty clear expectation of that. So I've been doing this 10 years, and we've only been in the worksheet. We've only been tracking the trades for 3 years, 3.5 years. So actually, probably in 2 or 3 months, it's going to be time to increase this R anyway to probably 250 or 300, which is starting to get to the level of exciting. So anyway, great question. Thank you for asking it. I appreciate it. All right, so again, we are out of 10%. So in this particular one, my fill was 217.02. So 10% of these 89 shares, 9 shares. So now we're going to move our stop, ladies and gentlemen, on FLT. So I'm going to take the stop here. I'm going to make this new stop. So the trade could still, before I move it, I'm going to look at the 10, make sure the 10 with the extended hours turned off. All right, we're below it. Okay, 214.96. Increase stop on FLT to 214.96. Okay. Cool. Is everyone comfortable with where the stop is? Does it make sense for everyone? Have I been giving enough time? Have I been clear and explaining what I'm looking for? All right, awesome. So my next goal on this is I'm going to exit the rest of my position here at 218.65. Next target is 218.65. To exit all. Benjamin says, very clear, Jeremy. Thanks again for opening the room this week. You guys are pros. I appreciate that. Michael says, Jeremy, are you setting up OCO orders? I sure am. Yes, sir. And that's right above the pre-market high. So the pre-market high is 218.59. So I figure it's going to pop above there and see if we can catch it. Now, here's what I'm expecting FLT to do. I'm not saying it will do it, but I'm going to draw it in here just so I don't freak out in case it does. I'm expecting it to retest the 10 EMA on the 5 minutes. Since it is a bullish retest gap, it usually will do that. So me drawing this will help me stay calm, or at least try to stay cool, calm, and collected as the trade retests. Now, if we lose on this trade, which is still very possible, I'm hoping to simply lose small, right? We've peeled off of 10% of our position, and we've moved up the stop. So worst case scenario, we'll have a very small loss on this trade. How to use RSI in real life. Orlando Gutierrez is asking, do I ever use RSI? I do, but it's a little bit on the rare side. Only because I already know what RSI is going to be. On 99% of the time I'm looking at a trade. So I will send you a video, Mr. Orlando Gutierrez, I did on RSI. I'll put that into the chat pane right there, and feel free to watch that video. Jason says, FLT, if you know that will happen or anticipate it, why not stop right below it where it is now and take the retest? Oh, Jason. You used the key word, my friends. What was the key word in that sentence? The word no. N-O-K-N-O-W. K-N-O-W. Man, I'll put it to you this way, brother. I know I'm one of the best in the world. But if I can foretell the future of a stock, I will make you all billionaires by Tuesday afternoon, I promise. because I do not know for sure. I can anticipate what is likely to occur. I'm very good at that. Very good at that. But I do not know for sure. Because what I do not want to do, Jason, tell me, type in a 1 once I explain it if it makes sense. What I don't want to happen is I don't want to increase my stop, get stopped out for it to trade higher. Has that ever happened to you, Jason? All right, cool, man. That's what I want to avoid. I don't want to get stopped out only to see it go higher. The best traders are the most patient. I spell patient with a Y because we get paid to be patient. It's a beautiful mix and a very nice blend of being patient and being aggressive, my friends. You have to have a gorgeous combination of both of those things. Aggressiveness and being patient, meaning you're patient most of the time, but when you see the setup that you want, you take it unquestionably. You take it unquestionably. So, Zillow did break through our stop. Now, again, we're not in this trade. We have not gotten triggered into this trade yet. I'm going to leave the stop open for a little bit longer. Intel, some of you are in Intel. Michael says, what are your thoughts on Intel taking the bounce off the 10? I like it. So for those who are Intel, and again, I'm not in personally. I got, if I was in on Intel, my stop at this point would be right above the 10 EMA. 52.92 would be where my stop is presently. Apple. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, type in a 3. If you see what Apple did when I was talking about it earlier, trying to make that question more clear. It did not break the low of that hammer. Type in a 3 if you remember me talking about that's what needed to break down. The low of that hammer. So the setup, which I did not set that up, I will in a second, but the setup of that trade would have been you wait for the break below that hammer, which this candle did not do. And when this candle came in, that white candle, you could have absolutely set up an entry here with a stop here, and you can see that you would not have gotten triggered in. So taking all that information, the pre-market is really what helps me make that decision. And the reason I say the pre-market helped me make that decision is because you can see this pre-market resistance right here. Looks like a triple bottom or inverted head and shoulders pattern or something. It broke out. This was the retest of the neckline. This is the bounce. So I'm not in on Apple bullish right now. That's okay. We set the trade up bearish, but we did not get triggered in bearish. We did not lose money on Apple. We should all give ourselves a round of applause, at least officially. Now, some of you traded it. Some of you traded it certain directions. That's okay. All I can let you know, folks, is I have a few traders. One trader called me and asked me this about 3 months ago that said, Newsome, what would you say if I said, I'm just going to take every single trade that you take and only the trades that you take? And my analysis, my reply was, cool. Sounds good. Do that for a while until you can at least understand when, where, why you're getting into the trade so that you can understand and get the flow of why you're doing it. So then at that point, you can then begin to use those skills on your own. Because obviously, folks, my mission is to enrich lives, and I do that by educating and entertaining people how to trade the markets effectively and profitably and safely. And that whole teach a man to fish mentality applies very well, obviously, with trading. So if you are brand new, I want you to ask as many questions as you can. If you're going to take any trade, you're welcome to take the trades that I am placing, that I'm setting up for you all, that I am doing my absolute best I can to make it as clear and concise as to what we're trading. You're welcome to do that. Just grow with me and understand that things take time. Things take time, my friends. Even being at real life trading, you're not going to go from a $20,000 account to $1 million account in a year. Okay, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm letting you all know that now. I'm a terrible salesman. I know. This is me telling you what's not going to happen in real life trading. You will not take a $20,000 account and make it a $1 million account in a year by following all the trades that I do. And I'm sorry. Kind of. Not really that sorry, because it's just not going to happen. One of the best traders I know, one of the best in the real life trading group, is taking a $25,000 account and is working on turning it into $1 million. And he told me that's going to take him about 4 to 5 years. 4 to 5 years, one of the best traders in the world. So all I'm getting at is it can certainly happen, my friends. You can absolutely grow your account. You can make some solid money, but it will take time. Okay? It's going to take time. Got to be patient, right? You got to be patient, be patient, be patient. Jacob says, what's a realistic growth rate for a smaller account like under 20,000? Realistic growth rate is based on R's, usually 3 to 4 R's per month, which is often 3 to 4% a month. It's a very realistic, real life example for most traders. That is pretty realistic. And while you're doing that, your goal, of course, is to get better and better and better over time, right? That is your goal. So it just takes time. Takes time, my friend. Everything does. If you're going to go to college or you're going to get, on-the-job training or you're going to learn a new skill or whatever the case is, it's all going to take time. All right. So Apple, a nice little bounce on Apple. John says, do you look at futures intraday? I personally do not trade futures, John, but we do have a futures group here at Real Life Trading in the Slack channel. So you'll notice it right there. It says Real Life Futures. I'm sure you also know we have a futures class, the only program on the internet that is entirely free that teaches futures. We're breaking and changing the game, John. So anyway, to answer your question, I don't personally trade futures, but we have tons of traders who do. And they're here in the chat pane. They're here on in this group. You'll get access to this for anyone who wants to continue trading with Real Life Trading. Yeah, great question. All right, so it's 9:42 Central. In 2 minutes and 10 seconds, I'm moving the stop up on FLT. John says was referring to the breadth of the market. Thanks. Gotcha. Even then, I look at the SPY every now and then regarding what I want it to do, but yeah, man. JD looks nice. I do like JD. I will consider taking a trade officially on JD. Let me give this one a little bit more time. It's at the bottom of this S curve. This is very likely it's double bottom where it's going to try to end up bouncing. What candle is this? Open, close, open. So this is a one white soldier candle on the 5-minute chart. Very interesting. Okay. JD.com is a big maybe. It's I'm gonna put big maybe on here. And the reason I'm putting a maybe is because I'm already in a trade. And we're already up on the trade. So it's going to depend on how much money I can lock in on FLT if I take any additional trade. But this is a very nice tweezer bottom. Nice analysis, Kelly. High five. Yeah, beautiful tweezer right there. $44.28, $44.28. That's a gorgeous tweezer. Very nice location for that to occur. So if you were going to trade JD, your setup would be pretty much 44.69 with a stop right about there. That would be your setup. You would want to wait for this candle to close, however. Let that candle close, and then if it breaks up, hop in bullish. Whew. Okay, man, you guys are asking some great questions. I love it. Jacob says, do you have a daily R goal? No, I do not. I have a daily monthly goal, which is 10 hours a month. Nick says, do you target specific times of the day to place trades? Not really. I'm done by 2 p.m. Eastern every day. I can count on both hands how many trades I've taken after 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Charles Wade says, it's like you can see my screen. You know it. All right, type it a 2 if you're having fun, if you're still with me, if you're enjoying this, if you're having a good afternoon, good morning together. All right, lovely, lovely. Now, I want to do my best verbal answer to tell you what the next trade I'm going to take is. On FLT, we still have not retested, which is phenomenal. So I will exit a little bit at 218.65, but at this point, I'm going to increase the stop to 216.22. New stop on FLT day trade is 216.22. Welcome to a profitable trade. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. At this point in time, it's going to be impossible, hopefully, for us to lose on this trade. You'll notice my stop is still below the 10 EMA. Jim says sold options for $215. Nice job, Mr. Brown. Congrats. Give me a few seconds. Price. All right, let me move this over here. Gonna update. Okay, so 216.22, $216.22, 216.22, $216.22. All right, got it. RJ says, why not scale out, take another 10? Because we're not at a target yet. Not really at a target, so I'm gonna let it keep on riding at this point. RAM says, I'm not able to move the stop. Why is that, RAM? Alejandro says, what type of drawdowns do you experience in your stocks day trading strategies? Drawdowns. I mean, the maximum I will lose in any given day is 3%. That is the max I'm willing to lose. I don't know if that answers your question, Alejandro. I haven't personally had a losing month. I think since 2014, late 2014. So I've certainly had losing weeks. And in May, I had only 1 R gain. I think like on May 25th or something. So May was a tough one. I did end up squeaking out 7.6 Rs for the month of May, but that was a brutal month. So just last month, I barely was profitable, but it eventually ended up happening. Rams, the stop loss is above or below the current bid price of 0.5% of fill price. So I'll just say, try to look over again what you're doing, Ram. You're likely inputting something in incorrectly. 216.22 is below the bid and the ask. Shouldn't have any issues. So with JD.com, it did close. So if you're taking JD with a setup like this is what Charles Wade was looking at. It looks nice. So I think Michael Ward and a few other traders are in that. I would take off a small portion, very small portion here at 45.12. Kind of an arbitrary number, but there's a little bit of resistance up there. Again, I'm not in this trade yet because I haven't locked in enough profit on FLT to trade. So let me kind of give you a some quick numbers very fast. If I take one trade, let me rewrite this. If I take my first trade of the day and win, but I win less than 1R, I very rarely take another trade that day. Can anyone tell me why? Why is that the case? Protect those profits. That's exactly right. Risk mitigation, positive carry, not losing. You guys are all correct. I know, my friends, that sounds like I'm chicken, but this rule treats me very, very well. I promise you this. All right, I promise you. Day trading has nothing to do with making money. If you go from here on out, I'm doing this as a professional, my friends, as a professional. I do, and I am a partner of a hedge fund. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that I do manage other people's money. So from a professional standpoint, if you go to any service or educator or company or program and they talk about how much money you're going to make and that's all they focus on, do not subscribe to their service, because they're not a professional. I have never encountered someone who has hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, who worry about how much money they're going to make. What do they focus on, folks? They focus on how much money they do not want to lose. That is their goal. Do not lose money. Simple as that. So for me, in this example, the challenge on JD.com, even though as much as I like this trader right now, we're still in FLT. And we'll be profitable on it. We're profitable right now, but not by a lot. Not by a lot. So that's all I'm concerned about. Is I don't concern myself with how many trades I can take in a day or how much money I can make in a day. I just don't want to lose that much. So that's pretty much all I got, my friends. That's it. So I'm gonna be waiting for. That was a beautiful S curve on Apple. Gorgeous. I did not plan on taking Apple bullish, but look at that curve. Look at that S curve. Allie says, what if you lose on the first trade? Do you enter the second? I will. Yep. So one of my rules, Allie, is, I'll write this in here for you. If I lose 1R on my first trade, I often will wait 1 hour before placing a second. If I lose 0.7R or less on my first trade, no problem. No worries. I won't even blink an eye. Did that answer your question, Ali? Because that's it for me. It's like, if I take my first trade and I lose 0.7Rs, don't even care. On to the next trade. Won't even worry about it. Alejandro says, do you only manage one trade at a time? No, I'll be in 3 trades at once sometimes. But if I'm going to take 3 trades at once, Alejandro, that means I can only lose 1R. So for example, if I'm in 2 trades at once, I very, very rarely can lose 2Rs on a trade. I will have already locked in usually some profit, because again, this rule still applies. So I will end up, I can be in as many trades as I want. I can be in like 17 trades, it doesn't matter. But if all of those trades, if I can't lose money, then I'll be in as many trades as possible. You know? Ed, so thanks for your time this morning. Full-time job calls. I have to run, but I'm very interested in the swing trading session later because I work, so I'll check back in at 4. Awesome, man. And for those who do work full-time, you'll be getting a recording of all this as well. Alejandro says, okay, so you've added more trades, but with locked-in profits on the ones that are already running. Great. Bingo. Locked in profits is one of my favorite words / phrases. All right, we can definitely cancel Zillow. So Zillow was still open. I got it over here on my other chart and it just broke through a massive resistance. So let's cancel Zillow. Ladies and gentlemen, congrats on being patient on that one. That was a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. So Zillow off the table. I'm gonna come over here and make sure everyone's canceled. Cancel the Z day trade. I'm gonna come over here in the worksheet and I will delete that from the worksheet. So everyone who's following us, everyone knows that we are out of this trade. Alejandro says, thanks for discussing the risk management and drawdown part clearly and perfectly. Man, my pleasure. You're most welcome. I really wish more people did that in their trading rooms and whatnot. All right, so here's the pullback on FLT. This is the retest into that 10. This is it right here. Val says, where can I get a copy of the worksheet? Val, that is going to be for subscribers. We put a lot of time, a lot of effort, many hours into that. So if you sign up and decide to join with real life trading, I'll give you a copy of the worksheet. Marpel says, loss in JD, but overall made a profit. My first day trade ever. Thank you, guys. Hey, congratulations. Congratulations. Val says, how do I join? Val, we'll be sending you some links for sure at some point today. We're actually getting that website or that page put up as we speak. Again, I'm a bad salesman. I should have already had everything already ready to go, but I'm a really good trader. I'm not that good at selling. But we'll give you the opportunity to join. Don't worry. We always have specials. This is the only time you'll ever get a discount, twice a year during the free week. And after that, I never do. We only do 2 sales a year. Only 2. And the prices always go higher. Just like a stock, like a good company, the prices should go up. So I don't do that whole discount thing. All right, this was a really good pullback on FLR. A phenomenal pullback into the 10. So now we're going to take the stop and we're going to put it below the low of this candle that came in, which is 216.54. So I'm going to put this at 216.53. There's no real reason to get trailed out below that. Increased stop on FLT to 216.53, I believe. Yeah, 53. All right, so I'm typing it in. I'm letting all of you do it first, and then I'm going to go do it. Okay, so what's the low of this? 216.53, $216.53, 216.53. Okay, so here's the challenge, ladies and gentlemen. For me personally, for the rest of the day, I don't think I'm going to be able to take another trade because if I get trailed out here, I'm only going to be up very small, which is okay. That's fine, but I'm not up big, so since I'm up small, I'm going to take my profit. I'm going to bring it on to the next day, which is called, which is the term called positive carry. Positive carry. And again, if you never hear that word in anyone else's presentations, just leave and don't listen to them anymore. That's a word that you should hear within the first 2 hours of being there. That simply means if you make money on one day, whatever day that is, let's call it Monday, your day is to bring that, your job is to bring that money over into Tuesday. Positive carry. My good friend Michael Ward says, Jeremy, I'm joining the trading room next week. I love it, my man. Appreciate that. Mauricio says, FLT is not too good for calls, is it? Not for day trading, no. For swing trading, possibly. Again, I do have this one planned on my list to swing trade because this is a very, very pretty gap. I love the volume. This is going to be a great swing trade. In fact, if I'm talking about the S curve, I think that something like this will happen on FLT. So as far as the swing trade goes, you know, crush it. But you'll notice down here on the x-axis, the drawing that I just drew is about 4 months worth of time. Yeah, so it takes time. Everything takes time. RJ says, what makes tomorrow statistically better than today? Nothing. But if you're profitable, your job, RJ, is to bring money from today into tomorrow. Type in a 1. I don't think this has ever happened to anyone other than me, but just in case, I want to make sure I'm not alone because I don't like being alone. Type in a 1 if you've ever been profitable early in the morning to only give it back later that day. Has that ever happened? I mean, I think it's just me. I'm pretty sure I'm alone in that plight. But that's all I focus on, my friends, is if I'm profitable early in the day, I want to carry money into tomorrow. Because what happens tomorrow? Can anyone guess? What happens tomorrow? Everything changes. Everything changes. You get a brand new day, new opportunities, new gaps, but everything's going to change, right? You're going to get different gaps. You're going to get different waves, different volumes. Anything and everything can happen. So every day is a brand new day, and my goal is to make money by not losing money. So that's really my goal. Anything and everything can happen. So yeah, I just simply try to lock in my profits and take it into the next day. Tanya says, my daughter likes your singing. Tanya, I don't know if I can take that as a compliment, honestly. That's my responsibility to tell your daughter to explore different avenues of music. Please check out other artists, because if she likes my singing, something is horrifically wrong. I am not a good singer. Yeah, it's bad. Mauricio says, how do you determine what stocks are okay to day trade by buying calls and buying puts? It's a very good question. I do have a video on day trading weekly options. Not to brag or anything, but let me brag a little bit. I'm the foremost teacher on the internet for day trading weekly options. I don't know why or how that actually ended up happening, but if you type in day trading weekly options, I'm the guy that comes up. So here's one of my videos. I'm the very first Google search for day trading weekly options. So Mauricio, I will throw this link your way. I do have a day trading weekly options course. I have all kinds of materials on options. We do day trade options very frequently in the trading room. So to answer your question, if you want to be a part of that, feel free to let me know. I'll answer a lot of your questions this week. But yes, certain stocks are good for weekly options and some of them are not. So if you only buy calls and puts, go through that video. It's free, Bob, so I'm not selling anything. It's a very free video. It should answer most of your questions regarding day trading weekly options. But for day trading options, Mauricio, you have a very easy job. Focus on about 10 or 15 stocks and wait for them to gap nicely. Yeah, man. So Bob, that's a good question about selling. I don't personally sell anything. The product sells itself. So right now you're in the trading room for free. Not that I'm not trying to brag. It's really irrelevant. But you're gonna have to spend to do this webinar. I'm spending thousands of dollars for free, right? So thousands of dollars are going into ensuring that you guys can be here. So it does cost room. There are back-end expenses to day trade, server costs, room costs, hourly costs. There's a lot of costs. So if you guys do want to trade with myself and the real life trading team, honestly, the amount of money is infinitesimally small. We'll have the prices and everything listed here in a few hours, but simple. Less than many other bills that you're going to have to pay. That is for sure. Derek says, can you send me a video on how to determine R's? Oh man, that is the second video under trading for beginners. That's how seriously I take that stuff, Derek. So there it is. Click on that chat pane right there. And click on class 2, risk management. This is the second class I teach. All right, wow, tons of good stuff. A lot of good questions. They're being slung in there like mad, and I love it. Work day. So some of you are saying work day's having a good day. Work day. Let me see you work. So we have a lot of option traders who are doing some put sales on Workday at 105 for December, but they got into that one a while ago. So yeah, Workday is having a very nice day. Intel is still down 5%. And is that a tweezer top? Almost a tweezer top. 1 penny away from a perfect tweezer top. So I think Intel has made most of its move, my friends. Remember, this is a blue chip stock. This is Intel. Pays dividends. It's only going to go down so much in one particular day. It's only going to go so far. So if you're in Intel bearish, I'm not. Again, I didn't take Intel. It hasn't had the full rotation yet for me. But if you are in it, my stop would be 52.95, 52.94, something like that. I will be watching it, though, to see if it can continue lower. But right now, FLT, my friends, is really trading quite nice. This is a very good trade. I am debating on how much to exit at 218.65. Jesse says, what's full rotation? The S curve. There's the bullish. Type in 2 if you want me to give you more homework. Because remember, I gave you the bullish homework. Here's the bearish homework. Draw this pattern right here. Take an arrow, point to that price, and actually handwrite the words, I will sell here. So if you're looking at shorting, that would be the spot. So if I go over here to Intel, what we will notice, here's Intel, is that it never or hasn't yet gotten its rotation. So on the 5-minute chart, you got this move, very quick one. I'm looking for this. That's what I'm looking for. Something like that. It hasn't quite happened yet. So Sherry says, is Facebook going to reach 200? Absolutely. Facebook will without question be going higher. It'll reach 200 and then some. Bob says, check out CVX. Chevron, is it doing something today? What is Chevron? Wow, up 1%. Yeah, had a decent little move. Had a very small gap. It's still an inside day candle right now. Off of the 50, not too much happening with Chevron. But if I were to trade Chevron, which I'm not, but if I were, this is the S curve that you got, Bob. So there's the pullback right there. So honestly, this looks pretty good. Entry would be here. Stop would be right there. So if you're playing it as a day trade, that's how I would. I'll throw that in the chat pane for you, Bob. Again, if you want to do another time frame, let me know. Time frames are very crucial, incredibly important, but that will be the day trade approach I would look at on Chevron. Phenomenal question. Okay. Man, so many tickers. You guys are throwing in so much. I love it. Jim says, look at BIIB. Getting wrecked. BIIB. That's a solid gap. Very nice retest gap. Good call, Mr. Brown. I like that trade a lot, actually. That, Desi, do you see how that's a little bit more of a rotation? Are you able to see that? Much more of an actual S curve, right? That's pretty. That's really what you want to look for. So if I'm shorting a trade or buying a trade, I just want to see that rotation come in. It's just easier for me. So this is only down 6%. I love the lower shadow that's coming in. Again, in order for me to trade another stock today, I need to make more money on FLT. So I'm happy to help guide anyone who wants to trade anything else. I do like that little play right there. If this trades sideways and I can get a big win on FLT, I honestly think about increasing my target on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna exit a quarter here because this looks so pretty. Let me type it in and then I'll tell you why I think it looks pretty. Is that fair? Change target to on FLT, exit 25% of remaining shares. This is my plan. Now, some people are doing it differently. Again, that's absolutely okay. The reason I'm only exit a quarter there is exactly, yep, Jacob says it bounced off the 10 beautifully. That is exactly why I'm holding for a little bit more, is it just perfectly traded down to the 10. So nice. Let me go update this in the worksheet. Updated stop and target. Put that there so people can kind of track that down. So remember, it's 25% of your remaining position. So just as a reminder, if you took 100 shares on this, we're already out of 10%, which means you have 90 left. So you take 90 and divide it by 4, and that'll give you 25% of the remaining position left. Right? Is my math correct on that? I believe it is. I'm not a math major, but I'm fairly certain that is how you get 25%. RJ says, I'm not getting why you stop trading with such a small profit and wait till tomorrow to take some same risk. If your plan has a max daily loss and arch profit target, why not let it play out every day? Because it's, I know my percentages, RJ. So I was talking about that earlier. My win-loss percentage is 41%. So you're talking about max loss. So let's say hypothetically that I take 25 trades in a day and I make 1 R, which is 500 bucks. Let's just say I did that. How much did I spend in commissions? I mean, it depends on how many trades I got in and out. Let's say 25 trades, that's 25 total round trips, meaning buying and selling. So that's really 50 in and out. So 50 in and out times whatever your stock trade is, let's say it's $395, it's $195 in commissions. You follow me so far? Now, how often do I have to be in front of the computer to place 25 trades? How much brain power is that going to take? How often do I have to be in front of the computer? How many times do I have to press the buttons? Less is more, my friend. Now, what will end up happening, RJ, is over time, you will get better and better and better at trading. Okay? This is, and what I try to do is I try to create an example for how a beginner trader what they should do so that they don't lose tons of money. Does that make sense, RJ? So if you can trade with me and trade with real life trading and over a year or two, let's say over 2 years, you're profitable, and over 2 years, you grow your account 20% in 2 years. Let's just say, as an example, all right? What you'll have done in that 2 years is you've learned an insane amount of information. You've put in probably over 5,000 hours into mastering your craft. You've gotten better and better and better and better at honing in on your skills. And then once you know your plan, once you know your rules, once you know your strengths, once you know your weaknesses, you can begin to cater a plan that works for you, create a strategy that works for you. I have a good friend who takes 500 trades a day. He has a very low commission because he does prop account. He does leverage money. His job is scalping. That's his approach. But he's also been trading 20 years, number one. Number two, trying to think what else is exciting about him. I mean, that's just his style, right? He's in, he's out, very, very, very quick. His goal is to purchase massive amount of shares, which can only be done on leverage, right? On leverage funds. So to answer your question, I would rather take one trade and make 200 bucks than take 10 trades to make 200 bucks. Does that make sense? It's the same for me, man. So I'm rather going to take one trade, make 200 bucks than take 10 trades to take 200. Less in commissions, less time, less brain power, less time in front of the computer, less chances of getting emotional, less chances of being wrong, on and on and on and on. So good question. Brian says, I usually day trade SPY weekly options. Can we look at it? SPY for analysis for bearish gap and go. We can, and I do apologize. I didn't look at it as much today. I usually focus on SPY or Apple. Challenge with SPY. So here's the pre-market. And here's the 5-minute chart. So the biggest challenge, and the reason I think SPY is going to go higher, and I guess I could have talked about this earlier. Here's your inverted head and shoulders pattern. So boom, boom, boom. How many people do you think went bearish right here with that low of the day break in the first 5 minutes? Answer, tons of people. Not you guys, but a lot of people went in bearish. Here's why I didn't. Here's why I didn't worry about it. Here's my analysis on the daily. Type in a 4 if you listen to my YouTube channel Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you have been seeing me plan what SPY was doing right here. So, okay, I'm getting a lot of 4s. So this is, I mean, literally what I've wanted it to do. So I wouldn't have gone bearish down here at all. Because this is exactly what I've been planning for the SPY to do, which is pull into the moving averages and then potentially bounce. So I didn't go bullish today. I would have if I was trading by myself. But because again, when I'm trading by myself, I don't have to explain things. I can just hop in, roll with it. You know, I don't have to write it down and talk it through. I can just get in. Yeah, that's why I wouldn't have entered bearish. And the bullish entry for me personally would have been the breakout of this candle right here with a stop right here. And I would have sold a little bit 5 minutes ago. Now, if you're a swing trading SPY, I do think it goes higher, so look to buy the dip. Look to buy the dip. James says, patient, disciplined, and humble. 3 top tools in the successful trader's toolbox. Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, folks, not to call him out or anything, but I'm going to call my buddy out really quick, okay? So James Gerard, the guy who just chatted into the chat pane, one of the best traders I know. Him and his wife are phenomenal individuals. They're incredible people. Love them to death. And it still took him 5 years to join real life trading. Right, James? So now that he's joined, it was his best decision he's ever made. He's told me himself. I can't imagine real life trading without James now. So the amount of people, the amount of information, the things that you have the ability to learn just in the people themselves is phenomenal. We have millionaires in the stock market. We have millionaires in real estate. We have millionaires in business. We have hedge fund managers, hedge fund owners. We have traders who have a license. We have traders who have taken a $4,000 account and turned it into tens of thousands. It is a investment in yourself. Simple as that. It's investment in yourself. Steven says, been here since January. Awesome community. And I appreciate that, man. It's really, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's phenomenal stuff. It's 10:20. So I do go in a lunch break in 40 minutes. 40 minutes. So we have another 40 minutes together. I'm going to do my best to look as many traders as I can right now. Bill says, how many people are in the room right now? So there's 339 people in this webinar at this exact moment in time. 339. On average, normally there's about 30. Normally there's about 30. So I would love all of you to join. That'd be phenomenal. But some of you will, some of you won't. It's okay. I have no hard feelings. My goal is to enrich lives, ladies and gentlemen. That's my goal. I want to teach people new things. I want to grow together. I want to help people learn. I want to push people out of their comfort zone. SOGO, Christopher King. One would only hope that it closes like this today and then closes above the high of today's candle later in the future. It's a very good resistance, and I'm really hoping that she just absolutely breaks out here and crushes it. Seymour says, everything I learned stock trading has been from Jerremy. The key is to learn why not just what price to buy and sell, but this is something you can let live for life. Very true. Again, my friends, this is a skill that once you got it forever. You got it forever. JD is not working. JD is not working, guys. If you're in JD bullish, again, I didn't take this trade only because I was not winning on FLT. Go ahead and exit now. It's just not going to work. This is the evening star reversal pattern. Here's the evening star. Once it took out the low of this white candle, you knew that trade wasn't going to work. Give JD about 3 or 4 more days. Let it do something like this, chop around here, and then eventually go higher. There's just not enough people trapped or excited on JD.com. Again, it's already made over a 30% move in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So just keep that in mind. Chief says, I've been here since January and made back more than what I invested myself. Just join the group. I agree, guys. It's a simple thing. If you are trading real money right now, and you have over a $10,000 account, you will easily be able to pay for the room, mathematically. If you're trading less than $10,000, there's no magical pill. I honestly say get in anyway and just learn for a few months. Again, you're not going to take your $5,000 account or $2,000 account and turn it into millions, but you will learn a lot. Of that, I can assure you. Jason says, how do you compare, analyze 5-minute versus 1-hour charts? They can give you contradictory views. So the 1-hour chart for me, Jason, is 1 hour is swing trading. So 1 hour is swing trading. If I am day trading the market, I very rarely look at the hourly unless it helps me determine how many people are trapped and how many people are losing money. Let me try to find a good example on the hourly. Let's go look at GILD. So if I come over here to the hourly, this actually looks like a nice setup. So if I look at the hourly chart, I can see that there is some support right here, pretty much exactly where we're at right now. And we have a black candle on the hourly chart. So someone shorted right before the close of market. So this is a retest gap on the hourly, and it's a retest gap on the daily. So that to me says be patient, wait for it to retest before getting into the trade. So yeah, hourly charts for me personally, Jason, are for swing trading and just looking at support and resistance. And 5-minute charts are for entering and exiting my day trades. Perfect. So FLT makes a new high. Give me about 3 seconds. I might set up GLID. Again, if I want to take another trade today, it's going to be all dependent on how much I make on FLT. Herman Jackson says, do you teach butterfly trading? I do not, because I don't personally trade butterflies. I don't like them. That's just my opinion. Not the insect, but the actual option strategy. The actual option strategy I'm just not a fan of, so I don't personally trade it. Okay, so we had another quarter of our position off on FLT. In fact, some of you are already making enough money to pay for real life trading for the next 2-3 months. Type in a 1 if you've made more than $100 on FLT. In one day, there's all the ones. We got Michael Ward, we got Jim, we got Charles, we got Chief, we got Donald, we got Daryl, we got Ron, we got Brian, we got Lawrence, we got Joshua Jackson, we got Neil, we got Marpel, we got Jim, we got Baiju, we got Dan, we got David. Dozens and dozens, ladies and gentlemen. That's phenomenal. At least I think so. That's super exciting. So we've only taken one trade. It was very clear what trade we were in. It was very clear why we were getting into the trade. It was very succinct. So now, again, with this new high of the day, this is a beautiful gap. This is so pretty. I'm trying to figure out where else to take it. So if I go to a 15-minute chart, wow, that is up there. It's a beautiful bullish trend. Okay, let's do this. 2 R's is 220.29. 220.29. Let's go ahead, and if we hit that, since it's a nice easy number and we're not that far from it, we'll just exit the rest right there. 220.29, exit the rest. I'll say exit the rest for now. For now. So we still have about 70% left of our original position. Second target hit on FLT. Nice job. Next target is 2R, 220.29 to exit the rest for now. Michael says, Jeremy, would you buy back off of the balance off the 10? No. Nope. I very rarely add and reduce, my man. I do not want to turn a winning trade into a losing trade. All you need, 2 or 3 good trades a month, my friends. That's all you need. 2 or 3 good trades a month. So don't worry about making all the money on one trade. Don't worry about it. Intel looks very toasty. That looks solid. GILD also looks pretty good. Man, so we're going to have a few that could be fun today in the afternoon. We still got 30 more minutes before I go on lunch, but your boy Blake Anderson, who is an absolute legend, will be on the mic in just a little bit. Brian says, changing stop loss on FLT. Nope, not yet. I'll let you know when I do though, Brian, and I'll do my absolute best to make it very clear and concise what I'm moving it to and when. Okay, so we have a little bit of a lull, which is Mitch Hedberg's least favorite word. Lull. Man, that word has all L's. If you take out that U, it's 3 L's. All right. For any of my comedy fans out there, Mitch Hedberg, may he rest in peace. Benjamin says a SPY fails 276. Get ready for a nice dip. Yeah, you could probably, it'd dip about 30 cents. 275.68 would be a great level to buy it off of. Okay, so we slow it down a little bit. What else you guys like? FC says Dropbox is dropping back. Dropbox, what a beast. Ladies and gentlemen, Dropbox on our list for the swing trading room this week. It's an absolute monster. Look at that trend. What is the trend on Dropbox, ladies and gentlemen? Go. Type it into the chat pane. What is the trend? Bullish. So play it bullish. It's easy. FC says made 2R on it today. Thoughts and looking to re-enter. I'll use the hourly and buy off of a pullback here at about $39.50. Buy the dip. The bullish trend, no reason to fight it. Buy that pullback. Here is Cisco, CSCO. So this is a bullish swing trade that we're in on Cisco. So we'll be moving up the stop at some point today on Cisco. We're in bearish on GES, which is comical because the market was pretty bearish today and Guess was not. Did get stopped out of an Apple options trade this morning and from a swing. And then Pivotal Software, PVTL. We have it set up to buy at $25.92 on a pullback. So we'll see if it actually breaks down there. A lot of people were looking at MU earlier today, Micron Technology. So MU just chopping around. We have a few people with a put sale. Earnings is this week on MU. So we get to talk about and discuss what it's doing, why it's doing it, all that kind of good stuff at some juncture on Micron Technology. But really right now for day trade, nothing is really happening. Target, ticker symbol TGT. Am I bearish on Target? No. Nice gap down to the 20. Nice little bullish trends. On a weekly chart, I mean, you're at some resistance. I don't see anything that looks specifically bearish presently. Now, again, for the hour break that I'm going to go on for lunch, I will have cover. So I will have Blake Anderson will be hopping on the mic. So you guys will get to see the workings of Blake. And then tomorrow morning, Brad Reed will be on the ones and twos. So you get to see Brad's style. So this week you get to experience 3 different trading styles, all different from each other and all profitable. So it's pretty exciting. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do that. Bill says, what indicators do you use on the hourly? I don't really use indicators, Bill, honestly. I use moving averages. If you consider those a moving indicator. So the moving averages I use is the 100, 200 SMA and the 10, 20, 50 EMA. Those are the 5 moving averages that I use. And then I use candles and support and resistance and volume. That's it, my man. I love trading the hourly charts. That hourly chart is that bill paying money. It's beautiful. I have one trader who wrote in, I've lost $19,000 the past year. Just put in a $1,000 since I've seen your videos. I have to say I've been profitable the past weekend. Thank you for bringing up my confidence. My pleasure. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for sharing that story with me. And I'm really sorry that you lost that money. I know that's super frustrating. It's really sad when that occurs. But the good news is you can make it back. That's the exciting news. A lot of, and here's the unfortunate thing. The unfortunate thing is real life trading is usually the last stop for most traders. It's usually the last stop. So you'll go through 4 or 5 other companies. They'll be really upset. And I'm like their final straw. Like, okay, if this guy can't do it, then no, I'm quitting trading forever. And that's after they've lost, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, sometimes more sometimes. But it's okay. I help people turn it around all the time. It just takes time, ladies and gentlemen. It takes time. Takes time. Again, SPY, I'm not going to personally play the SPY bearish. I'm just waiting. Again, I think this is a nice little, this honestly looks like a good dip buying opportunity if it pulls down into, if I do a quick wave count, Marx is true, but when we find the winner, we stop searching. Yeah, my brother. So here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We probably got like an ABC wave down on the SPY into here. I think this would probably be the buying location on SPY. But again, as far as a day trade goes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the king of boring. I'm very boring when we trade. I do not take a lot of trades, but we are profitable. So you get to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want excitement or do you want money? It's up to you. You tell me. If you want excitement, call me. Let's go play poker together. Let's go to the casino. Let's go to Vegas. You know, let's go do that. If you want to make money, get ready to be bored. Marilyn says, this is plenty exciting. That's what I think. But trust me, there's a lot of people out there like, man, this is boring. Hey, boring money is profitable money usually. One trader's asking about PAC. I don't really see very much on this one other than it's a longer term buy location. Yeah, that's all I got, my man. Is it a long-term buy spot? It looks like it pays dividends. As far as a day trade, I don't see really anything at all. If I were buying this one personally, which I'm not, but if I were, I'd probably look to pick some up at $86.78, place my stop around 80, and see if this long-term buy spot holds up, and if it doesn't, get out and get back in later. All right, so let me go look at Intel and GILE because I might be able to take another trade at this point if it's the right setup because we've increased our profits. GILD did break down, very pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna set this trade up officially on this one. Let me just go look at the daily chart one more time just to make sure I like it. So we had a nice little lower shadow from yesterday. We're gapping down. I can take this off the list. I don't think there's any long-term averages or anything in the way of this one. No. Okay. Secondly, FLT is at 219.08. So again, with this stop, I'm waiting for the next pivot to get formed before I move the stop. Type in a 3 if this trade feels like we've been in it forever. And the crazy news is we've only been in it less than 2 hours. Christopher says, what do you mean the next pivot? The next pullback, like pivot. Like, let me try to draw it for you, Christopher. The next one of these. So the next time it does like this, then I can move the stop up again. Retest, pull back, you know, place that the price pivoted. Okay, so since I feel like I can lock in more than I'm going to potentially lose on GILD, I will set up GILD. This one might not trigger, but I do like it if it does. Again, it might not work. But based on this trade, I feel like I will be able to lose less on this trade than I am going to win on FLT. It might not trigger, but 69.40 limit sell, meaning I'm trying to sell it on a pullback by $69.69. I believe Dean is already in. I believe Dean is already in. New day trade on GILD. So let me put in the worksheets. Does everyone know what this trade means and how to place it? And again, at this point, I'm going about as fast as I normally go. So we're not going super slow anymore. It's a retest gap. So let's talk through it a little bit. So here's the daily chart. So the daily chart, we are taking out this wick, this candle, this wick. We are below all of the moving averages. It looks bearish. Marilyn says, on these drug stocks, do you ever do any research? Nope, I do not. So black candle gapping down. So that's a retest gap, which means that there's some bearish traders going to take their profit at some point, and that's going to cause the stock to retest, which did happen. So you've got the retest, and now the stock has broken support. So question, can old support become new resistance? Yes, it can. Will it work? I don't know that part. But what I'm doing is, the reason I typed in the word bearish is so that you guys know I'm looking at getting into a bearish trade. Limit. So I'm doing 69.40 as a limit price, which says I will only short the stock at 69.40 or higher. Right now it's at 69.25. So unless GILD does this, I'm not going to get filled. So it has to do that. RJ6 looks like longer term support around 68.65. That would be great. That's all the way down here, which would be about 2 R's if this trade works. So thumbs up, RJ. Now again, will this trade work or will it fill? I'm not sure. If you did take the breakdown, congratulations. I would have taken this on a normal day. I was just a lot of questions, doing my absolute best to explain and answer as many questions as I possibly can. But this was a beautiful breakdown because you had so many white candles at the support. There were so many people trying to buy this thing, and they're getting trapped right now. So I will leave this limit sell open at least 18 minutes. And when I cancel it, I will make sure all of you are fully aware that it's canceled. So GILD, I put it in the chat pane. I put it in Slack so people can get their text alert services. I have it on the chart. All right, so now let me put it in here. GILD goes from a daily to a 5-minute chart. Right click, sell custom, OCO bracket, 69.40 is the limit. Stop loss, 69.69. And Ross said 68.25 is good support. I can put that in as an OCO order pretty much immediately. This is a 29-cent risk. So $500 divided by 29 cents equals 1,724 shares. Now again, you want to base this on whatever your risk is. Your risk could be 100, your risk could be 200. $50, $20, whatever your risk is, calculate that way. And again, this may or may not trigger. And if it does trigger, it may or may not work. I don't know. But it looks nice. Ron says, looks like I'm about to donate money to someone on Intel. That's right, Ron. You're giving money to somebody, man. I like it. You're a charitable, loving guy. Good try on Intel, guys. For those of you who took Intel, I did not play that one. You all know the stocks that I played, but that was did look pretty good. And again, JD.com, I mentioned to exit earlier as it was not going to work. So hopefully you guys are out of JD. I didn't take JD. I would have if I was up more on FLT. But JD at this point just looks like it's going to retest a little bit lower. Most likely, I will draw for you what I think JD will do. Type into 2 if you guys want me to do that. Just want to make sure the auto and everything is transpiring okay. Here's what I think JD.com will do. Something like that. So I'll put that in the chat pane. That makes tons of sense. Remember, this stock has already moved 30% in value the last 2 weeks. That's why this retest gap is being so weak. Okay? There's plenty of traders already in bullish. They're not losing money. They're not overly excited. They're not worried. This is what I think JD will do. Doesn't mean it will, but if it does, I will play it accordingly. So I got everything set up, right? Yep. Okay. Perfect. Stephen Peters is long at 37. Great job, my man. Very well done. Somebody was asking about NVIDIA earlier. I don't remember who it was, but it was very recent. NVIDIA likely will pull into the 20 at this particular juncture, something like this, and then potentially bounce. Trend is bullish on NVIDIA. Desi says, are you waiting for GLD retest the breakdown? I already have the trade set up, Desi. Already have the limit sell ready to go. So I guess to answer your question is yes. I'm waiting for it to retest. Since I have a limit sell order open, if it retests and trades into 69.40, then we will sell it short. FLT, that's this new pivot right here. Tweezer bottom, ladies and gentlemen. That's where that stop is going to go. Tweezer bottom. 218.66, 218.65. No real reason for it to break a tweezer bottom. Now, if I turn off the extended hours, here's what it looks like, kind of right off the 10. This thing could cruise all day. Man. I don't know how many times I want to exit, though. I think I'm just going to leave it alone and let it exit all at its original 2-hour target. That would be a really good trade if it works. So I'm just going to leave it at 220.29. If you want to make it or adjust it, again, ladies and gentlemen, you're more than welcome to trade your plan. This target at 220.29 is simply 2 R's from our original setup. That's all that number is. Mathematically, it's 2 times our original risk. Seymour, yes, of course. He said, did you take the trade? Why would I not have, Mr. Seymour? It was an official trade. Posted it, set it up, put it in Slack, put it in the worksheet, told you guys about it, recorded it. Put it, Thinkorswim's right over there. Good stuff. So far, all looks well. Christopher Miller says, when you unload a part of your position at different times, doesn't that increase your commission expense? Correct, it does, Christopher. That's why I don't trade that often, and that's why I don't do it that much. Because Christopher, if this trade works, anyone with a $500 R will make about $760. So if I spend $15 in commission, you know what I'm saying, Chris? Not a bad deal. If you're trading Robinhood, you don't have to pay anything in commission. So I agree, commissions are important. That's why I do not overtrade. On average, I place 40 trades a month. I win on 18, I lose on 22. My average win is 1.4 R's. My average loss is 0.7 R's. Sorry, place 40 day trades. Let's say 40 day trades a month. So if you guys do the math really quick, 40 day trades is 80 round trips. Again, depending on your commission structure, you should not be paying more than $5 per trade. In and out. That's absolute max. If you're paying more than that, get them to change that immediately. Okay? Immediately. So that's usually it comes out to you should spend about an hour a month on commissions. It is about what I do. So an hour a month on commissions usually is about $400 approximately, give or take, on day trades. And if you win on 18 trades, and again, the average win is 1.4 Rs. That's, let me do it with a different color. I do this pretty much every open house. I explain this, but that is 18 times 1.4 is 25.2 Rs. And the losing, again, on average, 0.7 times 22 equals 15.4. You guys are welcome to do the math with me, but that is the most average month, and it happens all the time. You're welcome to take a screenshot, but there you go. So again, after commissions and everything, that's usually about 8 Rs, roughly, which is pretty solid. And then if you factor in swing trading, options, a few other things, I usually get around 8 to 9 to 10 Rs a month. Usually. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll have 20 or 30 Rs a month, but sometimes I won't. And again, if we get stopped out here, folks, that's the term I use is trailed out. Trailed out. So this is the place that it should go. You have a tweezer bottom. There's no real reason for it to break that low. Even if it's just with a wick, if it takes out that low, I'm just gonna you know what? Lock in our profit. We'll make a good trade. We still have GILD open. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But all still looks good on FLT. Tiasso Goya says, what broker do you trade with? Make that brokers. I have a few. For stocks and options, mostly Thinkorswim, Interactive Brokers. I do have a Robinhood account for fun, usually every now and then. So Robinhood, plus I have a few others that we'll day trade with and things of that nature, but I didn't spell that right. Anyway, those are probably usually the main four that I'll flip back and forth on. I have a few for cryptos as well. I've used almost every broker out there, except for Tastyworks is the only one I presently, the big one that I haven't used right now. Ash says, any suggestion on SPY leaps to get in for bullish move? I love trading SPY and I love trading leaps. So I like this pullback. I mean, really, the best time to get leaps would have been back here in April. If you're going with leaps, I'd probably say a 275 January 2020 will be a really nice leap, as I do think we go higher on SPY. That is my thoughts on leaps. I like leaps, especially in the broader markets, especially since I'm a perma bull. It makes the most sense for me. Someone's asking about ZUMZ. What is ZUMZ doing? Oh, wow, that had a big breakout. Nice. Okay. Wow, very sideways. Ugh. It's an ugly chart. No real trend. If you bought back in 2006, it's the same price it is now. However, I mean, if you're looking at playing it, the trend looks bullish. I would just stay in bullish. I don't have any short-term swing trade on it, but if you're in bullish, stay in bullish. Valiant Pharmaceuticals had a pretty decent gap down today. You can see, though, it didn't do very much, at least from a day trade. So here's the 5-minute, and it did have an intraday beautiful rollover. Look at that gorgeous monster. That is very pretty. Type in a 2 if you can now see the S curve. Yeah. That's a big takeaway, right? So there's the S-curve. There's one, and it actually gave you a second one just in case you didn't get in the first time. Obviously, I did not. I'm not in this trade, but I can put it on the list. We can track it for the rest of the afternoon. I kept the watch list a little bit thin today, and I'm sure Brad will be doing the same tomorrow. There's just a lot of you folks here. Pietro is asking how many people are in the room. There's 334 people in here right now. It's a lot. It's exciting. I wish there was more. I could do 1,000. I could do 10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed what you did today, go tell your friends. Go tell your coworkers. We're doing it again tomorrow. Go tell your family. Get people in the room. I want to help people learn how to day trade. I want to help them understand where to get in, why to get in. I want to understand how they can calculate risk, help them with their timing. Really just superb. Now, we still have plenty of content left. Plenty. It's only 11 a.m. my time. So I'm going to lunch in 5 to 10 minutes. And then Blake Anderson will be taking over for an hour. And he's going to be trading some stocks, looking through some gaps, looking for some setups for all of you fine folks. And then I'll be back with another hour until 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we're done until 5 p.m. Eastern, which is the afternoon swing trading room. So I hope you are all ready for that. And if you're watching this recording, thank you so much for watching it. It means a lot to me. It's been a really exciting morning. I've been loving this. Feeling good, trading good. Yeah. Brenda Bailey says, great info. Woo! All right. Get my dance on. Yeah. Brian says, lots of fun. Thanks, man. Only gets better. It only gets better. Jason says, how will be swing trading at 5 p.m.? The market's closed. Oh, Jason. What about planning the trade for the next day? Right? You can set up a trade even though the market is closed. Market does not have to be open. So you do your analysis, you set up the trade for the next day, and it can trigger without you even being there. All right, so we got VRX on the list. My buddy Chief wants to look at DocuSign. DocuSign is a monster right now. DOCU up 2%. This is also a very nice bullish trend. Chief, if you're in, you ready for this one? Keep holding. DocuSign has a little bit more time left on it. Jacob says, will you be back after lunch? Yes, sir, I will. And again, you don't have to leave. We have someone taking over for me for lunch. I'm just going to walk out the room. But Blake will be here, and he's a phenomenal trader. Guys, he's so good. So good. He makes me look like a one-winged blind pigeon. Richard says, in that S-curve, I will buy here. How deep in that dip do you trigger into your trade? I mean, before it makes a new high, I would say, Richard. So if it's doing this on the S-curve, you certainly want to buy before it does there, preferentially. So usually for me, very rarely do I get in that exact bottom. It's often right about there. So I know it's not perfect, but trading is more art than science. I do like this move a lot on WDC. Look at this. So this is a perfect example, honestly, Richard, right now. So if I'm playing Western Digital and I'm looking to go bearish, I'm going to try to find the location and the price of which the support will have broken down. Now, the biggest challenge for that is this is the bullish candle right here. That's the most bullish candle that that occurred before the pattern that we're in. So if I'm going to get in bearish, I almost need to wait for that candle to break. And since risk risk reward's only so-so. I'm going to put it on the list. I'll see if Blake likes it, but I don't think I'm going to trade it right now. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. I really do like the pattern. So again, you're welcome to take a picture. This is the pattern I look for all the time. I look for this rollover to occur. I just want to make sure that the candles, before, the candles look nice, and then when it really breaks down, it's going to be trapping people. So I do have some good news, I guess. I guess it's good news. GILD has not triggered yet. So here's GILD, and I'm trying to debate if we should keep that open or cancel it. I wish I had a poll. What do you guys think? Keep it open or cancel? Actually, Blake, can you hear me? So Blake just popped his head in.
I can.
Woo, big man.
How is everyone this morning?
We're doing great, brother. How are you?
Not too bad. What's up, Ron? Hey, guys.
So what should we do on this? You want to leave it open, or what's your plan?
Yeah, let me take a look at it really fast. Yeah, I think we can.
Okay. All right, guys, I'll leave it open. What I'm going to do from now is I'm going to leave you in the beautifully crafted, fast typing, profitable trading hands of Blake Anderson. I'm going to minimize. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to make you the co-host. I will turn off the recording. So again, for those who are watching, thank you so much for being here. I'll record Blake's hour as well. And again, feel free to hang out. I'll be coming back in just a little bit. You want to be